Hello, hello. Sorry for the slightly delayed start on the second part of the stream. Hey, Kevin. Hey, Sinistella. Let's see. We want to get harvesting working, and I checked in earlier, so let's get this stuff. What is this? Hovering over an empty farm plot will say something like this plot is empty. Bring potions to the seed maker to plant a random seed. I don't know if I want to do this. I don't think I do. Yeah, I think I'm going to get rid of this particular item. Update. I'll see if this is needed based on how people interact with the farming feature. All right, next, randomize which seed is planted. Okay, that should be pretty easy because I'm pretty sure we only plant the tomato seed. Yeah, so we just want to randomly plant a seed. So crop ID random seed. And I just want to see what this would do. The way I would probably do this is we have some enumeration functions here that says get valid values for crop ID. And then what we could do is do a to list on this that we then sample like that. This would work. And whether or not it's good, I don't know. Okay, so let's try that. Now, when you grow a crop, we potentially show the fruit on fruiting crops, but we don't customize this. The crop should know what its ID is. We don't do that. Yeah. So maybe, I don't know if this needs to be public. Do we care? We do, maybe. Okay, so crop ID, get private set. All right. Then we don't have any initializer here. So let's make an init that takes in the crop ID. And it should know what I want to do here. Good. Now we need to be careful. Do we have an init that we've already defined in either of these? Not there. Whole harvest crop, not there. Okay, cool. That's fine. So whenever we make this, which is here, we need to initialize this with the crop ID. Good. And then I guess set plant animation name is not a thing we actually need anymore. In fact, all of this stuff can probably be moved into some sort of like create the crop that we want, and you just pass in the ID and it makes it all for us. Yeah, I think that makes a lot more sense. All right, then we'll relocate that. Add child. What is this? Crop.create. Crop ID. Yeah, and then get rid of all of this. Okay, go make a static function here. Public static crop create. That's where this stuff's gonna go. We don't need to add it anywhere. We just need to return this thing. Crop, got it. I know I made one of these different. I didn't mean to, but there we go. All right, everything else looked good. Yeah, although this is part of the init. This should just be up here. Plant animation name. We need to get that from crop data. Okay. Now that whole set plant animation, whatever, is that gone? Did I delete that? Set plant animation. Yeah, I got rid of it. Okay, what have we done? So we don't have the fruit set up correctly now. So when you initialize this, I guess this needs to be virtual. We need the fruiting crop to call into the parent class now. So base.init, yep, with a crop ID. Good. We need to mark this as an override. It knows to do that. We can delete all this stuff. And then based on the crop ID, we want to get the fruit sprite that we set correctly. Crop data. Fruit sprite. Okay, how does this work? We need to make an atlas texture out of this. Atlas texture, this sort of thing. It's gonna have the same, it's just gonna change the region really. Yeah, I guess we just change the region. Okay, let's do that. Although if we change the region, then we need to also change the the outline thing that we do. And I think we do this somewhere else. Yeah, we call toCropped texture afterward. Crop data dot fruiting crop data dot rectangle fruit region. Yeah, this needs to be on the atlas texture. So atlas texture is the current texture that we have. And it's on the fruit sprite. And then we can set this on here. This we know has to exist. Does not contain a definition for this. What is this called? Oh, come on. I don't know what it's called. Fruiting crop data has a fruit rectangle. Something is amiss if it thinks that doesn't exist. Yeah, I don't get it. What's wrong? Maybe dot value dot then? Nullable value may be null. We know that it's not. Yeah. All right. This will probably work. I don't think I wrote anything about the outlines here. Yeah, when we make this harvestable, we're probably going to need to do something about that. Where is the harvesting stuff? Here it is. Outline the crop. We dynamically change the atlas texture region of a fruiting crop. So we probably need to recrop it. Crop means two things. Okay, let's go try this. We should be planting all 5 types of crops now. However, we only have 4 plots of land, so we can't test this in one go unless we get everything that is not the, oh, it already broke. The tomato. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. What is the crop ID we're getting here? Tomato? How is this failing then? Oh, I see. It's the order that we're calling this stuff in. This is init. And this is only ever done from... No, that's weird. Something should be initializing this. It had to be called. Oh, in this case, it's called... Wait. What? It should be called from here. And this should be above the other thing. Oh, that's not the problem here. Oh, because we don't add it to the parent. Oh, God. All right, node parent. So that we can add it first. Whatever. Okay, so crop create this. There. That'll fix this. Which means we don't need to return the crop anymore, right? All right, so now we planted a seed. Who knows what that is? It's not working is what it is. I can't make it grow. I think what needs to be happening for that to be the case, that it's a fruiting crop. If only we could figure out what that was that we just planted. But there's no way. Well, I guess what we could do is we could break in here and then figure out what the first one is that we planted. So plots 0, whoops, 0 dot crop dot, oh, it's null. What? How is this null? I don't know how that's possible because there's a seed right there. Huh. Okay, let's just close out of that. And then we'll just, whenever we plant a seed, we will figure out what the random seed is that we planted. Planting a, there. The tomato for sure should work because we were already testing that. So whatever that new plant was the one that was broken. Let's try this. What do we plant? A tomato. Okay, so Yeah, it's not working. So that means I broke something. Debug grop. That doesn't even say grow on it. Oh man. All right, well, what's going wrong here? I think this should be working. Let's put a breakpoint there. Oh, it doesn't work because I renamed it. I can't grop these crops. I just want to get harvesting working today. Yeah, this isn't even being called. Why not? I didn't delete that code, did I? Yeah, here it is. Debug grow crops. UI page down. Oh, was I pressing the wrong thing? This looks good. What do we have here? We call in all of these. That's fine. Now we call into this. But crop is always no. Oh, we're not setting it. Oh my God. Of course. The AI was correct. Hey, Dabu, how you doing? The AI knows more than I do now. It's finally happened. Okay, so now I don't care about the debug stuff. We're just going to hope that this works. What is this? It's a pumpkin. Planting a pumpkin ready for harvest. Okay, what else can we plant? That's another pumpkin. Don't care. That is another pumpkin, and that's a pepper. The pepper. Oh, that actually looks pretty good. Huh. I like it. Now let's try it with all of them. Because there are two that we haven't seen. We haven't seen grapes and we haven't seen carrots. Hey, Rockstar. How you doing? How's everything going? Okay, so that's a pepper. We already saw that. Tomato we saw. We did not see that one. So that's a grape. Neat. Although it's kind of off to the side. But yeah, neat. I also think that maybe there's an ordering problem here. But it's kind of hard to tell. Now, the only thing we haven't seen is a carrot. There's the carrot. Neat. Hey, Kino, welcome back. All right, I'm pretty happy with this. I mean, except for the rendering on rocks. That's something we know we have to fix. But yeah, this is looking pretty good. All right. Game is growing fast. So what do we want to do now? So we allowed randomizing the seeds. We don't care what we planted now. It'll just be up to the plot itself. Although I think that hovering over this should probably tell you when you've only planted a seed, like what have you planted? Oh, that's super broken. We're changing the region on all of these. These should be local to the scene then, huh? Close all of these. Go to fruit and crop. The fruit itself should be made unique. Does that work? Right, because I am changing all of these at once, right? They only sometimes change. I guess it depends on what's planted. I want the farm to still be max size, yeah. Okay, that might not have been what I needed to do. We might need to make a new atlas texture or something. How does this work? No, it's still changing. Yeah. So that did not do it. We could say that this is local to the scene. And now it might fix it. Yeah, it looks like that fixed it. So cool. I think this is going to add something to the game. I mean, that was the goal. That's why we made this. But I think it's actually going to accomplish that. Because it's cool to just see some other part of the world get fleshed out. Wow. Yeah, unfortunately, I feel like we're still not using all of the area that you'd expect. Like, it's okay to have some extra around here, but like we're not going to have this entire segment covered in systems over there, and then same thing up here and up here. There is going to be some dead space. And that's okay. I think what I'd like is for there to be other locations for your workers to go to. Like maybe there's a custom building that shows up down here that your workers have to like teleport to. I'm not sure. All right, let's set this back to normal because now we know this works. And let's check this in. All we've done is allowed this to randomize the scene. Or the seed, excuse me. And we fixed the typo, which I should really check in on its own, but I'm not going to do that. Yeah, looks good. Cool. Hey, Cloud, how do you code that keyboard? I'll show you in just a sec. Randomize seeds planted. Okay, so now instead of always planting a tomato, it will be any of the 5 plants, crops. Cool. So when you open a worker stamina recovery system and they have to return to the barracks every so often to sleep or recharge. Yeah, I would need to see how we could fit something like this in because just having the travel time, I don't think would be all that interesting. Anyway, Cloud, so check this out. This is the key map that I have for this. And you'll see there are these arrays of characters. So these are the letters that I can type just by pressing them on my keyboard. So for example, if I press this key, it is Q. If I press the one below it, it is A. If I press the one below that, it is Z. So just like on a QWERTY keyboard, but then it gets a little bit weird afterward. However, you see many of these arrays specified, and that's because there are layers on this keyboard. So for example, these keys are NEI, and then I hold this key and they turn into 4, 5, 6. And if I hold other keys, they turn into different things and they can, move arrows and whatever else. So basically every key has multiple functions on it. So coding is obviously letters, but then you get into something that you want to type as a character and you just switch into the symbol layer and start typing this out. So it's pretty natural in the end, and you have very little hand movement as a result of that stuff. Yeah, West Type guy. This is okay. I think having an environment around is nice. Makes you feel that the screen is not full of stuff. Yeah, also you're slowly building this up. So you might get to the point where the town looks this quote unquote busy at the 3-hour mark or the 5-hour mark or something like that. And because it would have been slowly introduced, I don't think it'll feel as bad. Anyway, what's up next? Next is make crops make crops grow over time. Okay, so right now we have to press a key on the keyboard to do this. Should crops, I guess we have some questions here. Should crops have different growing times? And how long should it take on average? I guess there are a couple options. Option 1 is just no. They're all the same. Option 2 is all crops of the same type have the same time. And option 3 is all crops can have different times. So I don't know about that. How long should it take on average? I'm leaning toward like the 1 to 2 minute range. I think any longer than that would be a mistake. Feels bad unless you can upgrade this by quite a lot. Then during growing times, could or would you take advantage of that to provide bonuses for various things like adding potions, etc.? Could you take advantage of that to provide bonuses for various things like adding potions? I think what you might be talking about is like, could you interact with the crops as they're growing? So it's not a plan for you to be able to interact with them as they're growing, just for once they're ready to be harvested. Like I'm not planning a watering or a fertilizing cycle or anything like that. So the times would purely be just that there's, I guess, a little bit of variety here, maybe. Each type has a different narrow range. Yeah, that's like a combination of 2 and 3 that we could do here. I think that's probably good. Yeah. You could reduce grow times. Yeah, I wanted to be careful because right now you sacrifice potions to the farm to plant seeds. So if I just restart this right now, if I generate some potions here and then just turn this on, my worker will eventually come over and where's my worker? There they are. I'll speed this up a little bit. They'll pick up the item. They'll bring it down to here. Putting it inside of this will plant a seed automatically. So since they're already sacrificing potions to do that, I didn't want it to be like, oh, sacrifice even more to do another thing. Yeah, let's add a bunch of workers. They'll plant all of the seeds. It's neat to see this working. Okay, so I think we go with like 2 plus 3, and we say crop types have a narrow range of allowed times. All right, the how long doesn't really matter right now, but I do want there to be a perk that changes, yeah, allow crops to grow faster. This would probably be represented as a well in the game. We have, yeah, we have 4 different well graphics, and I was thinking probably doesn't make sense to use this one. Oh, maybe it does. Maybe it comes with an empty well, and you fill it a little bit, and then your crops grow 20% faster. And then this, they grow 40%, and this, they grow 60% faster. But we got to be careful about how long they're growing at their fastest, because I'm not sure what the gameplay is going to look like for harvesting them. I think eventually you want your workers to do that, and I don't think you'll want them harvesting constantly, but maybe you will. So maybe what we do is we start it at 1 minute, and we eventually allow you to get it down to something like 15 seconds. I think it's probably pretty good. Or like a minute-ish. Maybe it's based on how much food they provide. Yeah, so like 1 minute on average. Maybe like pumpkins take longer since they give more food. So we'll just base the times on that probably. Maybe they dump potions into the well and you see it filling up. I want to be careful about double charging people. So the perk is basically like crops grow faster. If we made it so that the perk was actually you get a well and now potions make crops grow faster, then you need to spend potions and you need to spend some amount of time, either yours or workers' time. And that's kind of like we're double charging you. At that point, we should just start you with the well. But still, I don't want there to be like 4 destinations for potions. Can they throw it in and you see it fall into it? See, if we had gone the route where you get seeds through something else, then I think I'd be okay with using potions for something else. But since we already have a use for potions, I don't want you to have like 7 different levers in the game. Like, okay, I want this one off and this one on, and now vice versa. Like, at least these 2 things are pretty much on the same screen, and there's only the 2 of them. We might eventually add one for the tavern to allow that to be turned off too, but that'd probably be it. So, all right, let's go do that. Crop data is going to have a range of times. Could just make it a vector 2 if we wanted to. Vector 2 time range, time to grow. Time range to grow. I could also just make it an array if I wanted to. No, let's just call it that, sure. Okay, now let's clean this up a bit. Thought you said this was an idle game. Yeah, if you want, you can always just leave them in the on position and then pretty much never sell potions ever again. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to change all of these news to be, what is that first thing? Food value. Then the next thing is plant animation name. And then it should put these on different lines. Yeah. The next one is scene path. And the next one's fruit and crop data. Yeah, so now we need the time to grow. And that'll go here. New, what do we say? About 60 seconds on average. So let's type 55, 65 for now. And then we'll change it for individual ones. So carrots are worth the least, and maybe they should grow the fastest. So how about this? We'll have pumpkins grow the slowest. Let's start at the extremes. Let's have pumpkins take somewhere between, I'll say like 65 and 80. So that's the absolute high end of this, 120 seconds. Or not, sorry, what did I say? 80 seconds, a minute and 20 seconds. Carrots will be on the low end. So how about we start them at 40 and go up to maybe like 48 or something. So they can grow in half the time, but they provide 1/5 the amount of food. And then everything else should just kind of fill in between. So next one up is the pepper. let's start that at 45 and go up to 53. And then the next one up is tomatoes. Let's start that at 48 and go up to 56. And then the next one is grapes. Let's have that start at 52 and go up to 61. I'm not going to average these out or figure out what the average time is. Whatever. We'll just try out the game at some point. We'll see what it feels like. So now the time to grow should be plugged into the crop itself. And there should be, instead of debug grow, this should just be something that gets done automatically. So we'll put this in here. Public override physics process. The way we could do this, because how is this going to work? We're going to need to know when have we passed the last stage's growing time, which means we need to know how many different stages of growth there are for this thing. So basically the final, when that full time is expired, so let's say 61 seconds in this case, that's when we'll finally show the grape on the plant. Up until then, we have to go through all the stages spread out evenly. So we need to know which stage we're in at any given time and how many stages there are. All right, so let's track that. This will be a private int num growth stages, I guess. This is like how many unique sprites it goes through. And this is going to be set when we initialize this, because we set the, where do we set the, oh, there it is, down here. Yeah, so num growth stages is going to be equal to the frame count of that animation. And then if it's a fruiting plant, it's going to add 1 to it. Plus crop data dot fruiting crop data. So if this has a value, then add 1. Wait, do we need to do this? Yeah, there. All right, so that's the number of growth stages. So this is, if this is the number of growth stages minus 1, and I guess this should have been protected this whole time. Trat. Num growth stages. Get private set. All right, now in the fruiting crop, we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to set this equal to this. We don't need that. Oh, this is not how this is going to work. What does this mean? Yeah, I probably should have clarified this, huh? The number of unique sprites that we go through to get to the final product. E.g., this may be 3. 1 for the seed stage, 1 for the growing plant, and 1 for the harvestable plant. Okay, so then we added 1 for the fruit thing here. So the way this actually needs to be is if you are at debug grow shouldn't work this way, should it? Harvest or plus plus. So we need to know what stage we're in. And it's not actually the frame anymore. We can't do that. We need to know the stage separate from the frame. Alternatively, I guess we could figure out when this is close to the end and then do the same thing we did before. Yeah. This is like if it's greater than or equal to this minus 2, which I don't like. I don't think I want to keep that. So yeah, in physics process, let's do this. We need to figure out how much time has this plant had to grow, and then how much time does it need to grow. So how much time it's had, we can just keep track of here. Private double, like time since planting. I don't even know if this needs to be protected. Let's just make it private until it needs to be protected. So time since planting will go up every time over here. And then we need to figure out how long it will take for it to grow. Private. Ooh, should this affect? Okay, I think I know what we should do here to make this go through the stages faster. Every time you upgrade the crops grow faster thing, I think we just multiply delta by some amount. That way we don't need to change how long it will take for this particular crop to grow. Turn lever off when the building is full. Every 20 to 30 seconds, if the building is not full, turn the lever on. I think functionally it's going to be pretty similar to just keeping it on all the time. Does weather affect farming? No, and there's no weather in the game right now. Yeah, the reason I say this is because let's say you're fishing occasionally, then just leave the lever on and you'll just get more fish when needed. Having it turn itself back on every once in a while, I think rather than do that, because that's going to control where your potions go and you might sell something you don't want to. I think rather than do that, I'd probably frame it as a perk that just automatically grants fish every once in a while. Or yeah, perk automatically plant every once in a while. These are the absolute like epitome of here's what we need to test, because I'm not sure if it's going to be fun enough as it is. Like we already gave an automation feature here, which is the lever. So you could just leave that on all the time. So the question is, would leaving that on make it so that you're draining through your potions and not getting money? Are most people leaving it on anyway? Like how will people just play the game? And then how can we make it more fun? So I'm not trying to say we did things perfectly right now, but I think it's pretty hard to predict what will people want without seeing how it plays out. Because yeah, one of the things I'm kind of surprised by, and I've mentioned this before, but we have workers, which are just workers, and then we have adventurers, which are workers with the ability to battle. Because these are workers, it means you could take them out of battle and use them to clean up your town, basically. Nobody does that. And that's surprising to me. It's like if you have 400 items on the ground, people will still just be like, well, time to battle and get more. And it's not like this is unclear to players. They know that they can do this. They just don't do it. And I find that interesting. So I'm not sure, is that same thing going to happen over here? And people are like, oh, I know I can turn the lever off, or I know I can manually move potions here, but I'm just never going to do that. Do they want it to be more automated? I'm not sure. So yeah, we got to wait and see what happens. And this is like time to grow. All right, this is going to be randomized based on the crop data. So we say time to grow equals gd.rand range. Can you pass in a vector for this? Probably not. No, you can't. All right, well, that's fine. We can do that. And then these need to be capitalized. Good. And then in physics process, we need to figure out when the next stage is and what the current stage you're in is. And that's slightly difficult because this was based on frame data and now it's not. So I guess what we should do is we should have a public int growth stage, but this is virtual. And this is going to get overridden by fruiting crops to be something a little different from this. Can you do this? Is this valid? Is that valid? High's inherited member. Can you not do what I'm trying to do? How do you make this something with statements? Got to be a way to do that. I don't know. Need to add, oh, I see. You need to specify that it's a getter. Okay, that makes sense. Hides inherited member. Oh, I see. I didn't override it. Okay, never mind. I think it might have worked with the first syntax that I tried. I just forgot the override. But either way, this is what I want. So this is good. And now what we need to do is we need to return the frame unless we're at like -2, and then we need to do something certain here. So if plant sprite.frame is less than this, there's something like this that we need to do. What is this, capitalized? Yeah. So if it's less than that, then we just return plant sprite.frame. If it's greater than that, then if it's visible, we return num growth stages. Otherwise, we return num growth stages -1. I don't know if this is even correct. We can make this into a ternary. Not what I wanted, but there we go. Yeah, I'm not sure either. And I'm happy enough with this, so I think this is good. So if the number of growth stages... Oh, wait, now we can just do this for everything, right? No, we can't. Because we need to... Okay, hold on. This can always be growth stage. This... Oh, this can't be this way. Drat. Drat, drat, drat. I guess we need a setter for this, and it needs to know... No, not a setter necessarily. It's a function that's going to increase it by 1, but not in the right way. Drat. Okay, well, then we need to separate this. This is probably not smart. Number of growth stages. So how is this going to work? If it's less than number of stages minus 2. How about this? If growth stage, nothing should even be making this thing grow if it's already fully grown, but I'm not sure how that's going to work, so let's do that. And now we say if it is equal to this. Oh, we need to increase this, don't we? No, we don't. All right, it's something like this. I don't know. We gotta figure out what range this is even in. So number of growth stages, this would be 3 if we had seed, growing plant, harvestable plant. So 3. So when this growth stage is equal to 3, so I guess we should start this at 1. No, we shouldn't. It should be 0, 1, and 2. This is in the range 0, comma, num growth stages. I'll write it like this, so it's, you don't need no math notation for that. I.e. exclusive upper bound. Yeah. Okay, put this up here. And put it even higher up. So is that what we did with this? If it's equal to this minus 1, then it's ready for harvest. Okay, good. That is correct. This is probably not correct. So minus 1 is ready for harvest. So if it's minus 2, then that means that we have not shown the fruit yet. So this would be minus 1, and this would be minus 2. I think that's right. So this is minus 1, minus 2. Okay, I think we got this. I think this is a little weird, and I could probably simplify this. This whole ready for harvest thing is not really needed here. In fact, we could make a is ready for harvest. All right, let's go do that. Is ready for harvest is that. So delete this and just put this like that. Same general idea here. If it already is ready for harvest, just return. Otherwise, do the stuff. Okay. Hooray. Now we need this thing to grow automatically. So in crop, we already started the whole time since planting thing. Wait, why is it complaining about this again? Oh, never get this right. There. All right, time since planting is this. Then what we need to do is figure out the time of each stage. So time per stage is equal to this. What is that? This probably works. Let's try that, I guess. Yeah, something like that. Stage. This is not correct, though. We need to know what the current stage is that we're in. Hey, Wendy, how you doing? You looking forward to 3 hours from now? Or maybe four? I don't know the exact time zone difference. Okay, so if we got this working correctly, then when I plant a crop, it should grow on its own, which we wouldn't be able to know unless we sped this up quite a lot. Oh, it's growing. Oh my God. It's great. Except there was one tiny weird thing there. This all worked just fine. Let's plant some more and see if those grow as well. Wow. It's amazing. I'm surprised that worked. Not overly. What indulgences are there for tomorrow? What fun foods do you have planned? Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So, um, that this shades itself differently, and I don't know why. Yeah, look at this. If you move this down to here, they changed the pixels on this, and that looks really weird. And I think that was a mistake. It matches this one, but it doesn't match this one. Yeah, I'm gonna just manually draw that in myself, I think. Probably a curry. Nothing sweet? Okay, so as far as I can tell, the only difference is that we need to put a pixel there and oh no, there are some different ones down here too. But you could kind of argue that those are because of the shadow of the plant or something. But I cannot make that argument up here. So yeah, 2 more pixels there and there. Let's do that. Eyedropper tool, pencil tool, bing, bing. That did nothing. What am I doing? Oh, I'm in a pasted layer apparently. All right, delete. There. Okay, so now I want to export this as the this is going to be bad. This is going to be really bad if we forget that we made these changes. It doesn't match the other one, I think. I think it only doesn't because of this 1 pixel, but otherwise it's got the plant over it. No, I think they all match now. This was very it stood out for sure when we were in the game. Let me see if I can show you. So we got to plant that vine one. There we go. Take a look at this thing growing. Watch what happens. There, it moved those pixels up. So that looked weird enough where I was like, oh, we got to fix this. Dev's going pretty well. We now have the basis for the farm here, and this system is working too. So if we add in some potions and then turn this thing on, your workers will come bring potions into here, which will automatically plant seeds for you and allow your farm to grow. And that's pretty cool because that wasn't possible as of this morning. And what I'm hoping to get done with by the end of today is being able to harvest these plants. Oh man, this is super cool seeing this happen. And it does add some life to the town. I mean, of course, I have to speed it up to like 8 times to make it happen in a reasonable amount of time. Yeah, pretty happy with this though. Okay, so I just need to check this in the right place. So let's overwrite that and then go put this in the right spot. Farm plants 1, paste, replace. And now it should not look weird in the game anymore. Let's try it out. I should probably have moved the camera over to the farm so I don't have to manually move it every single time. But whatever. All right, so we're just going to take a look at this, and it should no longer look strange. Yeah, perfect. Great, 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 great. So cool. It's happening. We're getting farming in the game. All right, so you make crops grow over time. Done. Let's go check that in. Oh, also fix up the farm plant thing, whatever. I'll check this in on its own. Fix vine image. There was one version of the wooden pole that was missing, I'll say missing 2 pixels to match the others. I manually edited it. Yeah. Does VS Code have the diff tooling that GitHub has? Can I do the like onion skin thing? Maybe if you do... No, I don't think it's possible. It's okay. I don't really need it to be. I know what I edited. But if I didn't know, would I be able to find out? I think the answer is no. Hey, Vasiki. When developing these systems, something always comes to the forefront of my mind when I'm not sure how things should work in the future. Yes, what is that something? Okay, this is looking good. Ready for harvest is good. We're actually using that. Time to grow and time since planting. I don't really think these need comments. Let me write a note over here, which is that crops should grow faster. Where is that? Crops grow faster. They should add a well to the farm, or there should always be a well, and the well should just be filled in with water. Also, from an implementation perspective, we should just multiply the delta that we add in physics process. Yeah. What were you looking for Git? Onion or something? So if you look at an image in Git, so let's type in what's something that's changed. Adventurers maybe, .png. And you just look at any diff here. Like let's say I click this one. There are a lot of tools for looking at how the image changed. It's making a fool out of me. They're not showing up at all. Oh, this probably added them. Oh, this is what I want to look at. Yeah, here. So check this out. There's 2UP, which just shows them next to each other. There's swipe, which lets you drag a thing and see how this changed. And then there's onion skin, where you can see all of one, all of the other, or anywhere in between. So these are really nice for diffing images because that way you can see, oh, there's movement there. That must be what changed. But in VS Code, there's just the 2UP one. And here it's really hard to tell for some images at a glance, like, oh, that pixel got moved up by 2 or something. Good architecture allows you to make the important decisions last. Yeah, I think that's a good quote. And I think just generally, speaking from a game design perspective, a lot of times it's easy enough to design systems that sound fun on paper, and then you play them and they're not fun. And it's sometimes hard to figure out how should you even change this. I agree that your code should allow you to change it, but I just wonder, can you design something on paper and know that it's fun? And you could probably be varying degrees of good at it, but I don't think you can ever be perfect at it. Also, different people like different things. So, I mean, what's fun for you might be horribly boring for me. So that you could say it's a success when you design it for yourself having fun. But that's not a success in my mind necessarily. It's actually pretty tough to judge that sort of genre bias that people have. My wife is in a book club, and there are some people in there who like fantasy books above most other genres, I guess. And those people rate those books higher on average than they rate their other books. And it's like there might be a murder mystery that's good, but those people typically won't rate them like a 100%. But then how do you use that kind of person to judge how good the book is? And it's the same thing with games. Like if you take an FPS gamer and you give them a puzzle game, they might hate it. It doesn't mean the puzzle game is bad. I was going to write a comment and I never did. So I guess we're not going to. All right, num growth stages. Yeah, add 1 for the fruit. We could have the fruiting crop return this. I think that's smarter than having a ternary here. Yeah, I'll do that. This is a very, very minor change, but I think it's for the better. All right, where do we have that? Num growth stages. This is just a protected int. So we could set it in here and then have the child class override it. Do we use that for anything? Not there, we don't. Alternatively, you could just have it be a property. It's always going to be based on the animation. Yeah. So there won't be a private set. This will just be a function that returns what we need. Or a property, I guess, in this case. Okay, so here's what we do. We take this one and we put this up here. So this is the number of frames in the animation, and this needs to be virtual. And then for fruiting crops, it's going to be this plus 1. And that's it. So we delete that. We take this. We put it over in fruiting crop. Put this here. All right, override this so that it is this plus 1. I wonder if we could say base dot num growth stages plus 1. Does that work? It apparently does. Yeah, okay. Why is this yellow now? Because the wrong order. Fruiting crops, add 1 extra stage to show the final fruit since it's not part of the plant itself. Yeah, there we go. All right, what else? Keep looking through the diff. So in physics process, we added the time since planting. We figure out what stage we should be in. We modify this thing. This is called debug grow, but it's not a debug function anymore. So now we just call it like grow to next stage. Yeah, good. We still do have debug data in here, so I can still use keyboard keys to grow crops. We got to cut those out at some point. This is this is where I find this a bit ugly, but other than that, I think this is looking good. Yeah, and then here we just added in the time to grow to the next stage. Okay, yeah, so it's just fruiting crop. If we were to change anything, I would change this. Oops. So num growth stages -2 is the stage at which we grow fruit. I wonder if we just save this off here. Technically, this is not a constant, so this also couldn't be a constant. We could do something like this, private int stage at which to show fruit. And then just put this here. And then this is the ready for harvest stage. Yeah. Now we do this in one other spot, which is here. Yeah, I think that on its own is a good enough change. Let's try it out again. Camera, did I just bump something? What did happen there? I think I moved something. Oh, what did I do? Oh, I switched scenes to the piano scene. Interesting. So I was typing crop. Yeah, that's what happened. I was typing crop, and on the O, I accidentally held Alt, which then went to OBS, and then typing P went to the piano scene, apparently. Oh, thanks for pointing that out, though, Kevin. Is it a convention to have underscores in the beginning of functions? I'm not actually sure where that came from. Godot node. Let me see. Where did that come from? I wanted to see if it was a GDScript thing that got carried over, but it's not a GDScript thing. Wait, no, hang on. Where's physics process? No, it is a GDScript thing, I think. Yeah. I think these got converted from GDScript with an underscore. I'm not totally sure why. Maybe it's to imply that they're virtual functions. And I wonder if that's like a Python holdover. But yeah, I think C# just inherited that. All right, so we got to try this again. Figure that's for methods reserved for the engine. So wait, let me take a look at something. Idle ascendance. Because I never remember GDScript when I haven't coded in a while. Huh, interesting. We have set details is the only function in this file that doesn't start with an underscore. No, wait, there's also unq in this. I didn't apparently follow a convention myself last time I worked with GDScript. Weird. It seems almost random. Oh, is this private versus public maybe? But it seems like it's the opposite of that. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't remember enough. All right, so we want to try this again. I just want to make sure they're growing correctly. Let's see. We need something with a fruit on it. Yeah, I guess these. Yeah, it's looking good. Pumpkin takes the longest to grow. You know what would be neat is having, like, using our palette swapped fruits and vegetables. So maybe blue or purple grapes or whatever are the common ones and green ones are the rare ones. And there's like orange, red, and green peppers. And same thing with, I guess not tomatoes, but like blue tomato looking things. Because we have some of these graphics, so it's really easy to palette swap stuff. The only thing I'm a little worried about is I want to be careful how growth works in this game. So we have the farm. You start with a 2x2 farm, as in you have 4 plots of land. And by the end of the game, I want you to work your way up to a 5x5, which is obviously 25 plots of land. Just going to 25 plots of land means you're already getting more food per farm in your game. Your food output's increasing. So do we also need to increase it with something like rare foods that can happen? And I guess so. So I guess I'll write it down. We can always think about it later. Where the perks could make it so that rare crops spawn or rare variants spawn, e.g. a purple pumpkin or a blue tomato. These could be worth more food. Where's my golden pepper? You'd just think it was a yellow pepper, and then you'd be like, this tastes the same as the green ones. Throw it over your shoulder. Okay, so what did I even do here? We just changed this one thing, but otherwise it's pretty good. Allow crops to grow automatically. Crops have a randomized time within a range for each crop type. And that's it. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else. I think we established they do not taste the same. Well, only banana thought that. Everyone else is like, nope, a pepper's a pepper. Serrano, bell pepper, doesn't matter. Ornamental wax pepper, they all taste the same. All right, I just made up some values here. Obviously, we want to change those values in the future. Clicking a mature plant will harvest it. Outline the crop, dynamically change the atlas texture, show floating text indicating how much food you got. Okay, how about we start with this kind of plant, the whole harvest plant. When you hover over it, it's going to outline the whole thing. Let's cut out a few things while I'm testing this. Let's go back to the farm. Turn off all the rocks. Go to the script, make the farm bigger. And try this out. Because I want to have every crop showing at once. And we have 5, but we only had 4 plots, so that's why we're doing this. So I'm going to just spam a bunch of these in, and hopefully that's everything. And now we make them grow. Right, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? I got that right. I don't know. They're all in here. Okay, so fruiting ones, like the tomato, the pepper, the grape, you're going to hover over those, and they're going to outline just the fruit. The ones that are in the ground, so pumpkins and carrots, it's going to outline the whole thing in the ground, and when you click it, it's going to form a new sprite and fade out the old one. So let's write that down. All right, so harvesting a fruit, outline the fruit, animate the plant going away, animate the fruit rising a bit and then fading, something like that. And then harvesting pumpkins or carrots, outline the whole plant, animate the plant going away, and then same thing, I guess, with the fruit rising a bit. But the fruit rising a bit, this will be a new graphic altogether. Maybe we should make like a harvested crop, and it's just a graphic that rises and fades, and that's it. Specifically for customizing engine behavior and can be overridden in GScript. Interesting. So I should have probably used underscores myself. Although I think Godot proposes that for some of the function names. Maybe it's just when you're connecting signals. Yeah, so I think a harvested crop thing would be good. Then we just need a way of customizing which crop it is. Which means we should probably modify these sprite sheets more, right? Why does it look like there are grapes there, but there aren't? What's going on? What is going on? Did I move them somewhere else? Oh, God. Where'd the grapes go? All right, fine. I don't know. Let's close out of this. Don't save. And instead, we'll just open it from here, which is where I'm pretty sure the grapes went. Yeah, there they are. Okay, so we have carrot, grape, tomato, pepper. We're missing... Oh, no, there is pumpkin here, but this looks different from the other one, right? No, this is fine. We'll use that. Okay, cool. So they're all in the same sprite sheet. So we just need to customize the region for them. They're all already in the same sprite sheet. What is that sprite sheet called? Farm plants 2. And we don't have a region for those, I think. Okay, but the rest of this sounds like it's pretty much the same. Outline something, then animate the plant going away. I guess we turn off the fruit as soon as you do this. Turn off the fruit as soon as you click it. We also need to add collision for this stuff. All right, let's start with the collision. So you're going to click pretty much just the whole crop. Doesn't matter where you click it. You don't need to click exactly the fruit. And I guess hovering over the crop is going to outline whatever part of it is clickable. Yeah. So we probably should put in a thing here, huh? Plant is just set to... No, it's not set to nothing. Oh, I see. I just don't do it for crop because we don't have sprite frames for that. It'd be kind of nice to know what the size of this could be. Maybe we add it in now. I'm not sure if I want to do this. All I want to do is add in one of these in order to see how big is this. So we take this. We set this to 16 by 16 with a separation of 2. And we pick the tallest one of these, which is, I guess, this one maybe. Whoops. Let's try that again. 16 by 32. All right, now delete those. So there's our thing. Now I want to add in an area 2D and a collision shape, a rectangle, and then put the rectangle in the right spot. Man, it is hard to click those little handles there. All right, that's probably pretty good, right? Yeah. How big is this? Can we tell? No, we could look at this though. It's going from -14 to 17, so it's 31 pixels. That's perfect. I just don't want it to be 32 because then well, 32 is fine. 33 would bump into the next one. And even then, it probably wouldn't be a big deal. All right, so there's our collision shape. Let us now turn that off for a sec and get our area 2D here. We'll call this the clickable area. In fact, we can even give this a clickable area script, and then we don't need to do anything special about this, right? Okay, now let's hook that up. What's going on here? Oh, that was weird. Okay, so we do this here, clickable area, clicked. I don't think we need to save this off. Yeah, we're probably just gonna end up doing this inside something like this. We can make it so you when you right click, it just makes the crop grow automatically. That might be good, but only on debug builds. Wait, hang on. Give me a sec. Here, yeah, here. All right, we want this in the crop itself. And then we need to check for debug. Yep. Registering event handlers but never disposing them. Is that fine? It depends on the life cycle of the subscriber and the publisher. So in a lot of these cases, like with this crop, the crop has a clickable area under it. So the clickable area can't go away unless the crop also goes away, in which case this should be fine. But in a lot of other places, I do have a dispose method that will clean up any listeners that we had. So something like here. Here's a dispose that will unsubscribe from this because this thing could outlive the battle system. Okay, going back to the crop now. Good. So on right click, let's call grow to next stage. Yeah. And on left click, let's try to harvest it. Harvest. Yeah. Oh, why is this public? Why is this public? This shouldn't be public. Only, oh, that's why. Okay, never mind. Take that back. So harvest needs to check if it's ready for harvest. If it's not, just return. And it's got to do some things. For now, how about this? Let's just delete the crop, which is not what we want to do, but it'll at least be obvious that we've done it. And then is there anything that listens for something on the crop that we need to go clean up? I guess only the plot would need to know that. Yeah, the plot would need to know this so it can clear out its crop. So harvesting is something you do on the plot, I guess, not on the crop. Or there's a signal going upward. I guess let's go the signal route. All right. Public event action harvested. And we can pass in the crop itself. Namespace can't be found. Good. So on harvest, we just do this. Harvest and invoke. And I guess queue free this thing. So then the farm plot listens for that. Crop.harvested. All right, I don't know about freeing that here, but setting it to null, I guess we should do it at the same time. So we just won't do it from here. So we free this thing. This takes in the crop, which I guess we don't really care about, huh? This frees the thing. It sets it to null. We shouldn't need to do anything else. Yeah, let's try this. Okay, so all this is going to let us do is when a plant is fully grown, we can now harvest it. It's just going to delete it. And then we should be able to plant another plant on top of it. So let's try that out. So we're going to let this thing grow to max. Then we click it. It should go away. And now when we plant another seed, it goes in that spot. We click it here. It doesn't do anything. Here it shouldn't. And now it finally should. Yeah. Now let's try that with a fruiting plant. Let's just plant a bunch of these. Make them all grow. Oh, wait, whoops, no. Sorry, it wasn't make them all grow. It was make them grow until the last stage, but not actually at the last stage. Yeah, just want to make sure we couldn't harvest those. We can harvest all the carrots and stuff, but these need to go one more stage before we can harvest them. Oh, and they should play a sound and everything too. Do we have that written down? No, we don't. All right, let's make another task. Add sounds for everything. Harvesting. Maybe planting. Planting. I don't know. Oh yeah, looking pretty good. Now these things can grow on their own. We can harvest them when they're ready. Pumpkin's taking an awfully long time. Very cool. Very, very cool. Oh yeah, and I put in that debug function that I never tested, which is that when you plant something, you can right click it to make it grow immediately. Who's that? Kit, welcome in. Hey everybody. Thank you very much for the raid. How's everybody doing? We are working on farming here. By the way, Kit, I watched your newest video and there was some quote you had in it that I thought was hilarious. Something like, I'm asking the questions now, or I'm calling the shots. I forgot exactly what it was, but anyway, I enjoyed it. Yeah, welcome to everybody. We do game dev here, and I'm working on a game called Skeleseller, and we just added this in as of like today. So I'll show how this stuff works, and if you're interested in checking out this game, you can check it out on Steam. It's not fully released yet. It's obviously still in development, or else I wouldn't be doing this. So this is an overview of the game. It's very casual. It's laid back. A lot of this is automated. You have adventurers that you hire. So I can go over here and I can hire another adventurer. Let's get a mage. And then you can send your adventurers into battle. So I'll send both of these into a battle. They'll walk there automatically. They'll get into a battle. We'll wait for them. We'll just speed them up. They fight according to abilities that they have. And when they win, you get potions coming out of this portal, which you can just drag over to your shop if you want to, or your little worker will bring it over for you. And then customers will come and buy these items. So with the money, you'll use them to upgrade your town. And one such upgrade is what we're working on now. So yeah, these customers look like they're interested. They're going to go purchase these things. Yep, there they go. We got 6 gold. So you can buy the farm eventually, and there will be a sign here, sort of like the fishing pond. You'll click buy. It'll build this thing. So once you have the farm, there's this thing. This is the seed maker. You bring potions onto it, and it will plant seeds for you. And you could also turn this lever on and it'll make your workers go do this for you. So if I just make a bunch of workers here and a bunch of items, they'll go fill up this whole farmland here. And then the seeds grow automatically. So if I speed up the game, you'll see these start to grow. And what we're just working on now is automation. Kit, thanks for the sub. Cheater. Cheating because I'm speeding up the game and granting myself money. Yeah, so then you'll be able to harvest these. And I mean, that's as far as we've gotten so far. We saw that. Online PvP co-op? No, this is all single player. So all of these characters you see are just characters in your town. Ember Ghost, thank you too for subbing. And yeah, what is this keyboard? This is a corn keyboard. It's got 36 keys. The main way that it works is you've got letters like any regular keyboard, but then all of the same keys will do multiple things depending on what other key you hold. So I can type symbols, I can type letters, I can navigate my operating system, etc. By the way, Kid, I've been trying to get in touch with you. It's not until you raid me that I can call you out in front of everybody. Any chance to have Twitch integration? Twit, Freudian slip. This is what I think of chat. Where chat can have a named worker in the game. I'm not sure. Probably what we'll do before then is we'll let you name your adventurers, and then connecting it to Twitch wouldn't be too bad. I'm just not certain how many people are going to stream this game and will benefit from something like that. But yeah, I could see you naming adventurers at least, or maybe giving customers some names or more personality in the game. I called you when you were live. Yeah, but that was an accident. I purposely called you. Yeah, so anyway, that's the general overview of the game. Like I said, you do battles, you collect items. If that sounds at all interesting to you, wishlisting the game really, really helps. It's on Steam. There's a demo. The demo doesn't have a couple of these systems we've been working on lately, and only because I haven't released a new one yet. But the game is improving pretty steadily, and you can watch it all happen live here. You can stream it for my 2 viewers. Yeah, I mean, that would be good. So welcome in, everybody. The streamer I watch would definitely be down for playing this game. Do you mind asking them at some point, or do you want me to reach out to them? It sounds good, Kate. Yeah, I don't honestly mean to call you out. I really do appreciate the raid, and I hope it went well today, and that scam baiting is at an all-time high. Yeah, so this other system, I'll show this off as long as I'm showing off the game. We just added fishing like last week, And this is a very different system from how normal games do fishing. It's got this thing over here. It's the extractor, and it works just like the other machine I showed. So if I turn this on and I grant myself some potions here, then my workers will start bringing potions down to this. And as they bring enough potions down to it, it'll fill up the pond with fish. Right now we have a maximum of 3, so it's only going to give us 1 more fish. But then the way you catch these is by battling your pond. So you send your adventurers into battle. They stand on the dock over here and they just start attacking the fish. The fish do not attack you back. And as you do damage to them, they sort of rise in opacity here, or lower in opacity, I guess, because they become more opaque. And then when you beat one of them, this is taking a very long time because I have very weak adventurers, and you leave the battle, you'll get fish scales from them, and you use the scales to upgrade your stats, which we don't have in the game yet. Love trying all the games, and Twitch integration is something his chat really loves. Just an idea. Yeah, I'd love to do it. I just think these are the kinds of things that probably will only impact a very, very small number of people who play the game, but it could potentially swing it in favor of a streamer playing it at some point. And thanks, Wing Out. I have no idea what you're talking about, but I like games. I mean, we're making a game. That's the short story. And if this game appeals to you, it will be available for purchase at some point, probably later in the year. How'd you learn how to use this keyboard? Just typing around on it. The way I always kind of say this is if you're just trying to type English, it'll probably take you less than a week to learn this. If you do any sort of coding, it's probably going to take like 1 to 3 months before you feel comfortable again. Because a lot of this is just sort of memorizing symbols and where they are and how to use this. I have a bunch of like weird things about this too. So for example, most keyboards, you have a dedicated control key or a command key or something, right? So if you want to highlight all the text in this, you would press your command key and you'd press A and it would select it all. But I don't have a dedicated command key, so I need a different way of getting one. And one such way is pressing these 3 keys at once. I press all 3 of these, and now command is held. I press A, and it highlights everything. So there are slightly different ways of doing things on this that are sometimes confusing for people. Hey, Ghost. And yeah, welcome in everybody, and thanks for wishlisting it. Not a gamer or programmer. I love the gaming community and I'm fascinated with coding. My wife is a DevOps engineer, so I like coming to your stream and listening to you say mountains of stuff I don't understand. Thanks, FireTool. Looks awesome. Yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to this next release. So a tiny bit of history before I get back to some coding stuff. We've been doing things in what I call a checkpoint system, which is really just alpha launches of the game. So up until this point, we've been launching on itch and we've had some things on Steam. And checkpoint 1 was like a very rough version of this. We had a tiny part of the town. We didn't have all the graphics. We didn't have the animations. It just looks so different. And all of this has been developed, not all of it, but pretty much all of it's been developed live on stream. So if I go over to videos here or playlists, I think, and get to, Skeleseller VODs. If you just look back at any of the old versions of this, so like day 18, I think we're on 118 today. I don't remember. But like this is what the game looked like back then. And that's what I looked like back then. Totally different. Just completely different. So you'd see adventurers like walking around up here. There were characters with just money that showed up above their heads. There just a bunch of blank gray space. So things have been built up. And what we're prepping for now is checkpoint 5. Checkpoint 5 is going to introduce fishing, farming, item stacking, different adventure progression. Probably some other things I'm forgetting. The item stacking stuff is pretty new too. We have this town hall and this is where you get perks. And one such perk is item stacking. So if we upgrade this a couple of times and now we grant some items, let's do that. And this, now you can see there's 3 potions on top of each other and 3 bows and sometimes stacks of 2. Yeah, like 2 potions there. And that way, when your workers pick up those items, they're actually picking up 3 at once. So when they go stock a shop, they don't need to make 3 trips. So these sorts of things are pretty cool. They're like nice additions to your town, and you can feel like you've got faster economy as a result of that. What language is this? C#, yeah. Might be a weird question. How do you develop graphics? I don't. So I'm very bad at making graphics. I have farmed that out to 2 different sources. One is asset packs to form the foundation for this, and the second is Quickie Joe, who's sometimes in chat, who's then doing artwork on top of that. So we have that style that you saw of the game, like this sort of colorful style that you see. And then all of the adventurers, for example, are custom graphics for Skeleseller. So we have the idle animations, like a casting animation, a death animation, and this is all Quickie Joe's work. So I don't do artwork. I do coding and I compose the music for the game, which I had off, but I mean, I could just turn this on and you can hear it if you want. Yeah. So anyway, it's coming together. I look different back then. Since when? Since 42 days ago. Yeah, so when all this is kind of running here, you'll have characters fighting in different areas. I should probably turn down those sound effects. Is this too loud? It might be too loud. Let me turn that down. Looks awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, if you stick around, we should get harvesting working hopefully by the end of the stream. So instead of just clicking this and having it disappear, it should let you hover over this, see an outline, like animate the plant rising, show you how much food you got from it. Went to school for a little bit for game design and software engineering. Really enjoyed learning C#. Yeah, I love making games. I think it's great. It's a good combination of the skills I actually possess, and then of course I can't do visual art, so there's a gap there, but still a good way of solving problems creatively. Want to learn to code? Oh, cool. Yeah. I think that it's never been easier to learn probably anything, because we have so many more resources. We have tutorials and everything. We have courses online, free courses, paid courses, but especially when it just comes to the tech for this stuff. Like I'm using Godot. If you wanted to also use Godot, you would just type it into Google, click this, click download, and you'd have it on your machine. You could open it, you'd see this same general view, not with a picture in it, obviously, but you'd see the same general view, and you could just start adding things to your game. So you could make a new scene and click something like label and zoom in and type hello world, and there's your first game. And from there, you click something like attach script and start making it move left or right, turn it into a sprite, make some animations, etc. So there are tutorials for all those things online, and I think people are sometimes daunted at getting started with this stuff, but it's all incremental, and you just learn as you go. And along the way, you'll realize how far you've come since even 5 days ago or a year ago, whenever you started. Yeah, it's all about baby steps. Okay, where do we leave off with this? Because I do want you to see the content I normally stream, which is me struggling through coding all of this stuff. We just added the left clicking to harvest. Yeah, so now we needed to do this stuff that I wrote down over here. So outline the fruit. Let's go get that. Let's get the outlines working. What's the name of that app? It's called Godot, Godot. And if you really want the full name, I guess it's Godot Game Engine. But if you just search for Godot, you should find it. You learn all this on your own, or did you take classes? I did computer science back in college. I've got a little command here that explains all this stuff. And I've worked in the industry at various companies. The last one was Google. I worked there for about 3 years. And I've been streaming different games since 2015. I'd started working on Botland, which probably some of you recognize, and Kitboga played this on stream too, and I greatly appreciate it. This was a commercial flop. It's not even playable anymore right now, but it's in the process of being open sourced. But this took 5 years to make. It was a very bold game, in my opinion. It was a multiplayer game where you wrote scripts for your robots, and then they battled based on those scripts. So very nerdy structure to the game just to begin with. And yeah, I made a lot of slightly less than optimal decisions. But whatever, live and learn. It was great. All right, so the outline the fruit thing, we're going to take the fruiting crop and we're going to add a shader to this. Let's go plug this in over here, new shader material, and give it our outline shader and make this local to scene. Okay, so now we have the fruit. We only want this to show when the fruit is showing. Hopefully we can do what I want to do here. So let's try this out. We're going to add an outline holder and point it at our fruit. And then we're going to add an outline on hover and point it at our outline holder and our clickable area. And then put this at the bottom of the scene and try that out. And it should work because the fruit only shows when it's harvestable. Aren't you using Unity? Are you using Unity? No, I'm not using Unity. I'm using Godot. Is it better? I think it depends on what you want exactly. I would say Unity is probably slightly more mature. It's a closed source project. It has a monetization scheme that is not just use it for free forever. And it's been around for longer, had more people working on it. Godot is open source, which for a lot of people is a big benefit. If you ever want to customize the engine, you can just go do it yourself. and it is slightly less mature. It's had fewer people working on it, but it's just completely free to use. And I think it's pretty good already, although I do think there are some rough edges that are potentially going to take a while to get fixed by just nature of the amount of money that's in it. Google in Seattle, my friend's wife worked there before being laid off, but then she got a job at Facebook. Got a PhD, not sure what degree. They're in the Seattle Capitol Hill area. Yeah, in the Seattle-ish area is what I say. Like close enough to Seattle, I guess. But it's only kind of a half truth, I guess. Google in Seattle, I'm putting this in quotes. Technically, I worked for an office that was in California, and also kind of technically, I never went into that office. It was during the pandemic, so no one was really going in. But then even when the offices opened up, I wasn't going to commute, to a different state. So I occasionally went into the Seattle offices, but it's not really where my team was. Can you use Godot to create a 3D game? Yeah. Okay, so now when you hover over this, yep, this is working, but it's only for those. And the reason the sprite looks distorted is because I forgot to put a certain script on there. But yeah, nice. Okay, so let's put the certain script on here. This is just crop texture, crop sprite 2D. I don't think that on its own is enough to fix this though, because we also modified its region here. And I think what we need to do now is set the texture of this fruit sprite.texture equals atlas texture to cropped. And that should do it. It was the same technically in the US. Everyone I worked with is in the UK. Yeah, and I think that works okay as long as everyone is remote and everyone understands what that culture is like. For those who are kind of curious about this, I made a pretty long video about what it was like working at Google. And in short, I don't think I'm very compatible with that experience. And the video talks about why. But the time I felt like I was most compatible is when everyone was remote. Visit him and another friend. Oh, cool. Yeah, I always find that interesting. I played World of Warcraft when it first came out, and that was the first game I felt like I ever heard of where people were meeting each other in real life as a result of it. I mean, I know people were probably doing that beforehand, but yeah, that game really brought a lot of people together. EverQuest was probably one of the first ones that did that. Worked at one company for 5 years and never been to the office. Yeah. Yeah. 4 years right now. Met my husband on WoW. Yeah. I wonder how many people got married because of WoW. Oh, I broke this. Unable to cast object of type image texture to atlas texture. Did this change types because of this? No, it's an atlas texture. I wonder why that failed then. Fruiting crop. This shouldn't have been the case. Huh. What did I mess up? Well, let's figure out the name of this. It's just fruiting crop. And what's the crop ID? A tomato. And fruit sprite.texture is an image texture. I don't know. Oh, I know how that's possible. Oh, yeah, I know how that's possible. It's because we put the texture on, or the script on here, which turns this into an image texture, right? Yeah. This is going to do this. Okay. Well, then we can't do this. We need to make a new atlas texture with the correct original atlas texture, or I need to only do this once, which would mean getting rid of this. Let's try it. Just see if that works. Well, I don't think this is really the proper way of doing things, but bet more people didn't get married because of WoW. No, you're wrong. 99% of the player base got married to one another. Yeah. They fixed some issues on their own there. I'm surprised they don't, like, why'd they even fork it? Why didn't they just push the changes? I guess because of the long PR merge cycle. What are your favorite 3 games? I'm going to preface this by saying I probably wouldn't play a lot of these games again, but probably Super Smash Bros, Melee, probably World of Warcraft. Or like if you could play these games again, you'll never get the same experience you got originally. And what would be number 3? Probably Breath of the Wild. Yeah. So like I might never play Melee again in my life, and I'd be okay with that, but it was such a crazy number of hours of fun in my life. And WoW wasn't probably as many hours as Melee, but it was a lot of fun when it first came out. And Breath of the Wild, man, that game is great. That game is just fantastic. I love the Zelda universe and the music and everything, and that really brought it to life for me. Tea time. Fascinating statistics. Definitely not made up. All right, nice. We got this. So you can hover over this now. Nice. Yeah. So we're allowing you to hover over anywhere on the crop and not just the fruit. I don't know if that's what you'd expect from this. Or maybe you just wanted to be that you click the fruit. But yeah. Hey LA, how you doing? LA, why do you have two Twitch names out of curiosity? Yeah, weapon durability was very controversial. I think it's controversial in a lot of games, but I think it was especially controversial in a game where it never existed before that. The only concept of durability that you might have been able to argue is like you had to buy arrows in previous games. But like, that doesn't really bother people, I think. Recently we played Tears of the Kingdom. I want to play a little bit more of that at some point, but I felt like it's much harder for me to enjoy sequels because I played the first game enough to want the sequel that now I want the sequel to be similar to the original but different enough, and it's very hard to get that formula correct. All right, the next crop where we have to do this is for the whole harvest crop. So I want to make this highlightable as well. And this one, it's going to highlight the entire plant, but only once it's mature. So how do we do this? Let's add in our outline shader and make it local to scene. And then we need our outline holder. This is gonna be on the plant. And then this. Okay, this is gonna make it so that the entire plant can be highlighted, but it'll be highlightable at any time. I don't think we do anything special here with this thing. We just set yeah, I think this should be fine. So now we set this on there. All right, I'm gonna try to run this. It's gonna make it so we can highlight it at any time. Then we need to make it so we can only highlight it when it's ready to be harvested. We should see one of these. Oh, maybe it's broken. It's not broken. Oh, there we go. Wait, what? Out of all these, only like 3 of the plants were the kind I was looking for? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, so it's highlighted now. And if I make this grow, then I can harvest it. So yeah, we only want it to be highlighted when it's in the final stage. Or at least I think so. Do you want it to be highlighted no matter what? Maybe if we have a tooltip eventually, you might want that. And it could tell you what growth stage it's in. Like it says stage 1 of 6. Actually, that might not be too bad. In which case, we'd probably want to highlight all of these things, right? Oh yeah, sorry, Spartan. I read that. I just didn't read it out loud. My bad. But yeah, I hope it was a good time when you met him. I made an alt to lurk very small streamer friends, and now Chrome knows LA password, and my phone knows Tobogganator. So we live 2 lives. Okay, that explains it at least. May I ask, would you come up with a reason why the board have decided not to use Linux on desktops across the whole firm? Would you find any reason why not to use it? I mean, one that hopefully is pretty easy to grok is just familiarity by the people using the operating system. Depending on what kind of workers you have, there might be people who are more familiar with Windows or Mac and then don't want to get used to new programs or new ways of doing things. That's probably the biggest one. The same familiarity probably goes with administration too. A full front graphic across a zip hoodie for some reason. People avoid making those often. Yeah, I only like zip hoodies, but I also like, well, I kind of rebranded myself on stream way back in the Botland days. I was streaming in like normal gamer slash programmer clothes, and now I tried to upscale it a little bit. So that's the one hoodie I allow myself to wear, is one that still advertises for the Skeleseller cause. I'm a little torn on this. I kind of like the idea of being able to hover over this at any time. Oh, you can hover over 2 at once. That should not be possible. Why is that possible? I only made it. Oh, they're only spaced 24 pixels apart. Oh, you know what? We should just make it go a little bit taller than that. Okay, we should do a couple things. We go into crop and change this to be a little bit shorter, maybe. No, this is where the plant goes to. Maybe like that. Yeah. Okay, so like 1 pixel shorter. And then on the farm, we make the plants spawn a little bit higher. So let's move this up a couple pixels. And then in the farm code, make it so that they're spaced out just a touch more. Maybe like 26 pixels. Not about styling today. But he's got a cool hat. Okay, so now they're spaced out a little bit farther, and now this is showing a little bit too far down, I'd say. So let's move this node up a little bit more. But that's probably good enough. And now do we run into that problem where you can hover over 2 of these at once? No, I don't think so at least. Well, it's kind of working. It looks like there's a pixel where I should be able to highlight them both, but I don't think that's actually possible. What if I zoom out? Hang on one sec. Okay. Cat is going nuts. Time is it? 2:30. This is early for her to be going nuts. Hi, cat. She is almost certainly about to jump up here. Okay, yes, hello. Yeah, you don't want me to code, do you? Called it. Hi, kitty. This is Abby, everybody. Abby's a good cat. The best cat. Here's let me. She's that. There we go. Thank you. Yeah, here's a picture of when we had first gotten her. I just love that face. You were a young kitty back then. All right. Now she's gonna try to settle into my lap and then make me uncomfortable. You want to come over? Come on, Abby. Go. Oh no, not the claws. Not the claws. All right, move your butt over here. Good girl. Okay, now stay there. Oh, she's purring already. Okay, so positioning wise, I think I was fine on this. I did not like that this was as tall as it was, so let's shrink the. You know what? Let's do it this way. Let's move it up 1 pixel. There. Plants are 32 pixels tall. Are you spacing them every 24? I'm spacing them every 26. And then this thing is a little bit smaller, although it's hard to tell exactly what. If you line it up over here, it looks like it's going from, it's like about 25 pixels. So it should be fine. Oh, I love this cat. I love this cat so much. I'm still just debating on do we want to outline the plants no matter what? And then, no, I don't know. Let's try it the other way. Let's see what happens. So with the whole harvest crop, there is, I guess only when it transitions into the final growth stage do we want it to be highlighted. So let's do that. So we'll put this down here. We'll override this to call the base one, grow to next stage. And then if it's ready for harvest, then show the outline on hover. And I think that maybe we can do this by just turning this on or off. Do we have a method for that? No, it just does no matter what. We could pause this though. That might work. I don't know if that's smart or dumb. Well, let's try it. All right, so we would need to get the outline parent on hover. Oh, all right. Private node outline parent on hover. Oh my god, this cat. She tries sleeping on my arm. I guess you can't see right now because it's like just beneath the camera. But she puts her head on my arm and then she tries falling asleep regardless of my hand movements. Like sometimes I'll be playing a game and she'll still just fall asleep like that. Purring very loudly now. All right, so what if we set the process mode to paused? Would this work? Or disabled pause? I don't know. Pausable. Pausable is plausible, but disabled is probably correct. And then over here, we just set this to enabled on. What is it? Always? Okay, let's try that. We turn the outline transparent. I don't remember. Yeah, we could add some methods. This on its own might work. Let's try this. I ran into a problem on crop because I cropped this via, yeah, darn it. Wait, no, I just forgot to call the base. My bad. Fall asleep on your arms or hands while you're typing. They deal with being lightly but rapidly shaken. Saw they sleep through it. Yeah, I'm very surprised. All right, how are we doing now? Yeah, nice. Okay, so now you can't hover. Oh, wait, yes, you can. I did not expect that to be the case. Maybe this isn't properly being paused, or maybe I'm doing something else wrong. I don't see an error here, though, so there's... doing something wrong here. I guess all this is saying is don't run process. Outline, node. Oh my god, she's got her claws in me. Abby. She's trying to prevent my arm from moving, so she like grabbed on. Okay, you can sleep, but you can't use claws. Yeah, I think we just need to have a way of turning this off. Okay, let's do that. Public bool is enabled. There's no built-in way to do this, I guess. All right, so on mouse enter. If not is enabled, return. There we go. I guess we should probably do the same thing over here too. Okay, now we just do this on the whole harvest crop. Yeah. Is enabled equals false. And then down here we set it to true. Cut that out and then make this the right class. There. Okay, we're going to make all these things show up. It's probably working, but it's technically not possible to tell, I think, until you make these things grow and then find out. Okay, now it should be enabled. So now we can hover over these. Yeah, nice. Nice. Look at that. That is exactly what I wanted. Now, whether or not that's the best way to do this, I don't know, because maybe we want it to be highlightable at all times and show a tooltip, like I said. I think players will want to know that. So I'll write that in one of the polish stages down at the bottom here. Consider showing a tooltip. Do you see your little paw on the keyboard camera? She's licking my thumb. Consider showing a tooltip for plants when you hover over them that tells you how much food they're worth, what the name of the plant is, and maybe the maturity level in terms of growth stages. Is enabled to enable. Okay, yeah, sure. All right. So that part's done. What next? Outline the crop, done. Okay, so now when you actually harvest it, we want to animate the plant going away and animate a fruit rising off of this thing. And in this case, we need to immediately hide the fruit. Okay. So we're going to go make a harvested fruit scene. Harvested fruit. And this is going to have a sprite inside of it, sprite 2D. This is just going to be called fruit. It's going to be made unique. We're going to save this whole scene inside of here and here and here. Harvested fruit. Give it a script. The script is going to exist alongside this stuff. Where is it? Here. Harvested fruit. Okay, rename that. Delete this stuff. And it's going to do some other stuff, which we're just going to ignore for now. Actually, we shouldn't ignore that for now, should we? We should probably do this still. Okay. Will there be slug attacks to fend off? No, I was torn between ever allowing some kind of battle happening in your town. And part of the reason why is because I think it'd be one of two things. Either one, it's like a nuisance that you just have to click. So there's like a slug and you just click it and it goes away. Or two, it'd be a way of starting a battle. And then we already have this whole interface for starting a battle and picking your party. So once you have a lot of party members, you could be like, okay, I want the rogue, warrior, cleric, and I want them to go here, for example, and you start a battle. if it were happening in your town, you wouldn't be able to choose necessarily. You wouldn't have the same information you'd have normally. So, yeah, I was a little concerned about that. He's currently mad at me for taking us home from warm holiday place where cool things happen to our cold and boring home. Did you, out of curiosity, drive or fly? Because my cat does not like to be in a carrier at all. And I don't know what she'd be like flying, but it's hard enough to bring her anywhere. She doesn't want me interrupting her cleaning. Hi. He's been yelling at you all week. Abby's generally pretty good. She doesn't like being in her carrier. Okay, this is incredibly uncomfortable. Leave her alone. I just boofed her on the head. Oh, she rides inside my jacket. That is adorable. Abby has made herself into like a permanent lap cat. All right, so there's no base init on this thing. We get the crop data. We need to set this inside of an atlas texture over here that's already set to the correct atlas. So we do this. We get, I think it was in number 2, this one. Are all the fruits there? Yeah. Set the region, 1616. All right, so there it is. There's our fruit. And maybe we want to show a label in here too. I'm not sure. Yeah, possibly. In which case it'd be very similar to floating text. Or this could contain the same label that floating text contains. I'm not sure what I want to do there yet. Okay, so we get this, we set this. We don't need to crop the texture. We don't even need a script on that. This is not overridden anymore, just a public function. Okay, let's get to it. So this is called a harvested fruit. Put this here. Or what? No, it's not. Oh, it is. It's called harvested fruit. Yeah. And hopefully it's located there. TSCN, town, farm. Yep, it is. Okay, now we want to instantiate one of these things. And I want to add it here. I guess we could just take the same thing that we have. Okay, so get the crop data so that we can do what with it? Get the scene path. We don't need the scene path anymore. They're all going to come from the same scene. So we don't need to do this. We do need to just pull this from the harvested crop one. All right, so all of this changes. I'm just going to rename everything, even though it shouldn't be that way. Harvested fruit. All right. And then this comes from scene paths. Oh, good. She's leaving. Oh, you okay? I think she tripped on her way over. Scene paths, harvested fruit. Then pull this in. All right, add it and initialize it with the crop ID. And this should be made lowercase. Okay. Now we want to create one of these things when you harvest the crop, which is what happens in a farm plot. Yeah, so how are we going to do that? Call create on that. Harvested fruit dot create this crop dot crop ID. This definitely would have had to exist at this point. Yeah, we could pass in the crop, so we don't need to do things this way. Next time when I come in a certain jacket that she's inside. I love it. Okay, so we get this thing and we add it to the current plot. Oh wait, it's going to be added automatically. So we don't actually need to save this, I guess. But then something needs to free that. And I guess it's going to be at the end of this thing's life cycle. So I probably just want an animation playing out for this. Let's do something really basic here and just see if it works. So we'll add in an animation player. And how do we do this? New. We'll say something like, I don't know, default. Whoops. Those are the wrong letters. And then add a track property, change the harvested fruits position. So this is going to go from 0, 0 to marker. I want to add a frame to, let's say, why is this not changing anything? Oh, I gotta actually click this. Yeah. And probably extend this out too. Although 1 second is probably fine. I'll set it to 2 seconds. Or whoops, I clicked 5. 2 seconds. I don't know why this does. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so that's it. It's just going to animate upward. And we probably want to change the easing to be in out. There. All right, how's that look? Whoop, you harvested a fruit. And then as it's animating upward, we're also going to change its modulate. So property, I guess just the fruit needs to change, modulate. And let's add a frame there. And add one there. And the second one is going to be completely opaque, or transparent, sorry. So yeah. This is decent, but it's not great. No, I don't want that to happen. I want it to go like that. Oh, that's way too fast. But kind of cool. Let's lower that a bit. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Probably jumps up too high. Yeah, let's just change it. Instead of jumping up to -50, jump up to like -20 or something. How's that now? Pretty good. All right, I like that. Gonna incorporate pests and crop diseases? No, I don't think so. This is supposed to be a very casual game. So anything that makes for a more frustrating experience, I think, would probably not make it in. All right, then the last thing we need to do is make this thing automatically free itself. So we'll call a method on the entire fruit. And we'll add a key that says queue_free. And we'll call that at this mark. Okay, so there's our harvested fruit. And we're automatically creating them. So this should just work. Let's try it out. Wait, do I create these? Yeah, I think so. All right, so we plant a bunch of crops. I'm just cheating these into the game. We make them all grow, and then I click one of them, and what happens? It breaks. Because of what? What is our exception that we're paused on? Evaluation failed. I don't want this here. Well, let's just hit play and see what happened. Unable to cast a node 2D to a harvested fruit. Did I forget to give it a script? Yes, I did. Okay, let's try that again. We're probably creating them in the wrong spot, by the way. So I don't think it's going to line up all that well, but it should at least show something. Yeah, I know what I'm doing wrong now. We need to autoplay this thing. There we go. It actually was in the right spot. I don't know how that is possible, but yeah. Does it matter if they're not synced? It doesn't necessarily matter, but it depends on which keyframes there are. They are like the modulation can happen before the position gets updated. Oh, why did this happen now? Nullable object must have a value. Crop data, crop ID is caret. Oh, whoops, I see. They're not all fruits. Oh, drat. Oh, whoops. Okay. How do we want to change that then? So crop data right now has a concept of this thing being nullable if it's not a fruiting crop. So like a carrot, you just pull a carrot out of the ground. But actually the carrot is a different sprite from the main plant. So we need to define a harvested fruit crop for all of them. But for the ones that have fruiting crop, they don't need a second one. Well, we could always pull it from this first and then try pulling from the other one. I guess it's fruiting crop data, harvested fruit data. All right, let's do this. I might refactor this before we're done with this. All right, so the carrot comes from, where art thou, carrot? There you are. All right, what position are you? 64, 0. 64, 0. And the pumpkin comes from here. You are at 3264. Where is the pumpkin? Here it is. 3264. And then just replace these things with a rect 2. Any plans to add adventurers, which are focused more on helping the village than adventuring, like one which increases farming yield or the like? I don't think so. But the reason why is because, and this stuff isn't going to work all of a sudden. I'm just going to show this in terms of the town. The reason why is because we're going to have perks for almost everything you can upgrade in the town. So imagine something like the fishing pond. We have a perk board here, which lets you increase your max fish or how efficient the extractor is. If we were to have different adventurers, we'd probably be getting rid of these things and then just putting them on adventurers. And I thought about this for a while, and I just thought, I don't know if it makes more sense that way. I like having the consistency of this. I kind of like the idea that maybe there's some quest you can do in the game where when your rogue, I don't know, brings a potion down to this thing, it's worth like triple the amount. But how do you control that? You're not dictating all the orders in the game. So I think we'd have to see how it feels at some point. And I'm leaning toward it probably not being in the game. Okay, so if we were to pick a fruiting plant, because those should actually work. So let's try this with the pepper. Oh, that looks pretty good. Huh. Yeah, not too shabby. I think it should probably fade away a little bit faster. But other than that, I think it looks pretty nice. So if we just drag this here to the left a little bit, that should be good. I did none of the art by myself. I'm very, very bad at art. But there's the credits page, which says who did it. All right, so now we just need to get this working for the carrots and pumpkins. And those will need to probably come from a different position as well. Okay, so here, we need to pull this from a particular rectangle. It's a rect to use. Okay, so if this has a value, then use that. Yeah, otherwise use this. Harvested fruit. Is that all it's called? Yeah. That value direct. Okay, and then pull this from here. All right, so this is going to make it so that we can now harvest carrots and pumpkins, but they're probably going to look like they're coming from the wrong location. Yeah, I'm going to add a noise for sure when you harvest these things. Okay, so we need a carrot or a pumpkin. There it is. Yeah, so it's rendering from the wrong location, but otherwise it looks pretty good. So to fix that, what we're going to do is when you harvest a fruit, or really anything, we need to pass in what position it's going to be put at. Oh, wait. I guess. Let me think about this. These are technically taller sprites. Okay, let me try something else here, which not super happy with this idea, but let's try it anyway. So we're going to say if this has value, then we want to position this thing a little bit lower. New vector 2, or I guess just like vector 2 dot down times 32. I know this is hard coded for right now. I probably should add a point on the plant where this thing gets pulled from. But does it look a little better? We need to see it with a pumpkin. I have no idea if that even worked. I think it did. Let's put a breakpoint there. So these work fine. Yeah, this gets put here. The position is normally 0, 0. After this, it's going to be set to 0, 32. Yeah. I'm just not certain that it looks like it's correct. It's got to go... It's got to start like down there. It should be about 32. Maybe it's even more than that? I'm not sure. I should just draw a note on the plant like I mentioned. I'm just being lazy right now. All right, so plant all of our plants. It's rendering higher up than it should. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Like these ones look fine. These do not. Okay, out of curiosity, what if I just set this to 100? Is this having any difference? Or oh wait, it wouldn't because the animation player is going to override this. That's why it's not doing that. So yeah, if I set this to 100, it's only going to change it for one frame, and you won't even be able to see it for that frame, I think. Yeah, that's what's going on. Okay, so the animation player is fighting me because we're changing the position directly. What we would need to do is change the position of just the fruit. Yeah, that would allow us to fix this. So let's add in our property track of just the fruit, and that way we can change the parent's position and not mess this up. All right, I want to copy these things down there. Can I do that? Paste. Paste. And then delete this whole track. What did I just do? I think I did that, but it's also moved. Also, what do these things do? Continuous, discrete, and capture. Nearest linear cubic. Nah, I think we're fine there. Okay, let's try it. And then I just needed to show how much food you got, which can render through something else. I should really, you know what, I'm gonna do this right now. When you press page up to use this debug function, it's just gonna plant everything. For in I equals 0, I is less than 50, I plus plus. There. Now I don't need to press the key a million times. We can plant everything all at once. Done. Make them all grow. All right, now our plus 100 is working. And now we just tone that down to a casual 32. And I think we should be good. No, that's... Wait a second. Are the vegetable graphics? No, they're 32 by 32. Why does that look bad then? Oh, because these are centered. Oh. Yeah, the center is right there. The position to where the crop is actually only like maybe 5 pixels or something. So actually changing this at all is probably not needed. Why does it look good for the grapes and stuff? I guess just because they're closer to the center? Huh. I'm actually positive about that. No, we should add something, just not 32. I'm just gonna add 10. we're just gonna add numbers until this works. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think it's moving very slightly to the left as well. The carrots look good. The carrots are different graphics, so they don't really matter. But we can move everything to the right. This is new vector to 1, comma 10. All right, and then that's it. I'm not going to touch this anymore if this looks good enough. Yeah, this looks great. They are changing as I click them. You can see the carrot actually turns into a pepper. So that I got to fix. That should be easy. That's coming from harvested fruit. harvested fruit is using this thing, which is not set to unique. One part of this isn't set to unique, though. I'm not sure which part needs to be. Unique name and owner, fruiting crop. It's not this. I did this somewhere. I don't know where. Nah, whatever. We could try making this unique, but I don't think it's that does this. It might be the atlas. Oh, wait, no. Sorry, local is seen. There we go. Of course. Of course. Is it not cropping them? It doesn't need to crop these because there's no outline for them. All right, yeah, that's working now. Oh, wait, is it? Is something absorbing mouse clicks? No, I don't think so. Looks like we can hover over these and still click them. Okay. Yeah, affinity. All right, cool. It doesn't feel responsive. I think it's because I'm accidentally dragging the camera a little bit as I'm clicking. Maybe we should implement that thing that stops you from left clicking to drag the camera and just make it be middle click. It's even more apparent here. Yeah. And actually, something else I'm thinking about now, crops can have a little bit wider of a space that you can click them, just not taller. So if I do that, it'll make it even easier to click. All right, in general, though, this is looking pretty good. And the only thing we need to do now is add in a label that says how much food you got from it. So like carrots are worth 3, pumpkins are worth 10. Yeah, this is a little bit more usable now just by doing that. I like the animation too. I think it's pretty nice. Maybe what it should, no, I don't think I should worry about it. I think it's pretty good. And to see this in context, if we add in a bunch of potions here and turn on this seed maker, they'll bring the potions in. It'll automatically plant these. If I speed this up to 8 times, you'll actually see them grow in real time. 8 times real time. But yeah, it's looking nice. And then you can harvest them when they're ready. We can grant some more potions here. So cool. It's cool to see this come together. Can I plant the ogre blood potion? You can, yes. If you want to see what that's like, that'll give you all of your crops immediately right now. So if I just click grant items until we get, there it is. I drag this down here, we fill up the entire farm. The next thing we should do to make this maybe some feedback or effect when they're done growing, yeah, I think some kind of like sparkle. I think we should definitely do that. I will put this into the note. Okay. What do we need now? Show floating text. Yeah, let's do that. So we have floating text when you purchase something. That is done inside the town. Here it is. So let's go put this inside the harvested fruit. We actually don't need to do it here. Want to grow an ogre? Too bad. Okay, so we can put this right on the plot. The text can be something like +5 food. I mean, eventually we want to make that look better. The position is going to be the, I guess the position of the plot, sure. And all of this stuff can be the same. UI message, yeah, sure. Looks pretty good. Okay, so they don't give 5 food. They give a varying amount. But let's at least see if this looks decent. And then we can customize the color and the message itself. All right, showing the wrong location. Also, it's cropped. Huh. Does that happen with money? I think we need to not delete the outline there. I need customers to come purchase this, and I need to take a screenshot. It is not chopping it off there. But it is chopping it off down here. Huh. Well, we could just stop clipping this. There. And then the position was wrong on this thing. We're creating this at the position that the plot is with the plot as the parent. So this should just be 0. Hey, Atomic Man. Does that built-in support for localizing? Yeah, it does. I just haven't really started using that yet, and I really should. I'm trying to work on just features now, and then I want to stabilize after that. All right, it's decent. I actually think that the floating text shouldn't rise as you do this, because now 2 things are getting animated. So I think the text should probably be sticky and just fade out. Or, yeah, I think the text should, I don't know. How'd you break the golden handcuffs of your corporate job? I don't want to go like super personal here, but I'm not very money motivated, as you can probably tell by the stream. And I have the support of my wife. So that's the short story. Did the text drift with your mouse? It just drifts on its own. It's already moving upward. It's the same text that we use for battles. So if I just enter a battle, you'll see this text just floats upward. It's that same text. Yeah, I think we should just make it stick there. Or not have it at all. Because I guess if you're harvesting a lot, they're going to overlap whether or not they're sticking where they are. I don't mind it as it is. I don't think I like it as is. Do you need the food every time? Should be obvious. I think a symbol might not be bad. Let's make this. What color would you associate with food? I don't know. I was gonna say blue or something maybe. Could the words disappear faster? Yeah, we can change that. I think the duration is set based on the scenario property that we use. So this is just saying +5. Is that going to be clear? Because this is maybe a little better, but I'm still not sure. Yeah, animation's a bit too long. Okay, let's cut that out. This is, yeah, if we set this to battle quick, I think it'll actually do more than that if we set it to battle quick. Loading text does, it changes the font size as well. Yeah, all right. So that's not a good change, I think. Nice to have some feedback on your actions when you click on things. Well, the feedback is going to be the animation of the plant and then also the sound that'll play, which we just don't have the sound in the game. All right, so I think I just don't want this to move. And then I think we're probably good. Yeah. Okay, so let's just make a new scenario here and we'll call it something like, yeah, crop harvested. Wow, look at that. Good job, AI. I don't even need to think. And then over here, in the case that it's a crop that's harvested, we'll set it to 1 second. And then we won't nudge it at all. No, we won't even run this tween. We'll just modulate the first thing. So if scenario is not equal to this, then do this thing. All right, let's see how that looks. So the nudge won't even be considered. This is kind of a mess, and we should probably make proper subclasses of this, but yeah, I want to just iterate quickly right now. Okay, now that disappears way too fast. Okay, so 1 second is not enough to read that. That's not sped up, is it? No, it's not sped up. Just looks super fast. Maybe 2.5 seconds? Hey, who cares? Weather's so bad that my tires locked up. Tried stopping way ahead of time. My tires just decided to go. Oh man, that is super scary. Is it icy? I have a dream every once in a while where I'm driving and I can't stop the car. And I hate that dream. No, this is disappearing too fast for this to actually be doing something correctly here. What is going on? The plot isn't getting deleted. It's animating this too quickly. Oh, it's only animating the modulate, and it used to animate this before it. So actually the time to stay alive might be fine, but we only want to fade this out in a different amount of time. Okay, well, let's do that. In fact, I'm not sure if we should... We should just add this anyway and just not have a different final position. Yeah, that'd probably work. Okay, let's do that. So vector to end position equals... So in this case, we'll keep it steady. We'll just say position. Otherwise, we'll say position plus all that other stuff. And now we don't need to do anything special here. And we can just do that. Did you know anything about Godot or game programming before you started? Yeah, I used Godot first back in 2020 when I started the Adam Learns branding. I was planning on just learning different technologies that interested me and then teaching them. So that's when I first learned Godot. Game programming I already had kind of been experimenting with since the first times I coded. For back when I was like 13. Feel myself stamping on the brake. Yeah, it's spooky. Skeleseller Farmer. Hey, Raimo, thanks for the tier 3. How's it going? I really appreciate it. All right, so is that better? Maybe it's still lasting for a little too long. I'm not sure. Also, if you're zoomed out, you're not going to be able to see the +5, which is kind of an issue. I don't like it. I don't like that it's static there. Crunch time at work. Do you know how long it's going to be crunch time for? I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't think there's any other. I wanted there to be some feedback that you got food, but the more I think about it, the more I think this should show in like UI space somewhere, and we should just have food be on the screen. I think we're just gonna delete this. Alternatively, another way of doing this would be having the food like fly into a machine, and the machine keeps track of how much you have. Pens down last Sunday. Only bug fixing allowed 4 weeks of it, but it's 4 weeks of crunch time bug fixing. Also, icy and snowing, man. That sucks. Yeah, I think we delete this. No floating text. I don't know. Maybe have it fade toward a basket or something. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, literally. I'm just not sure. I don't want to add it in for now, for sure, because the problem we've always had is if you show something in screen space, then if you zoom out, it's going to be harder and harder to see. So like here, you can tell that you're animating these fruits that you're clicking. Okay, fine, that's okay. But like text is not as readable. And if you put something in screen space, so not in camera space, then you can always read it regardless of the zoom level, but it's not going to look at the same proportions to things. So this tooltip looks very large now, and now it looks very tiny, but it's actually the same size. And with something like this, I'm just not totally sure what we'd want to do. Probably have the text be in screen space and get sized based on what the camera is looking at the time. And that might look weird. The 440 people is because of Kitboga. Kit rated. Do you have a food icon in the UI? It could be something like +5 food icon. We could make one. Like we could have, I don't know, the corn be the food icon, for example, and just show +5 corn. Anyway, I think for now, let's delete this and let's see what else we have here. Yeah, I think a lot of people discover the raid through, sorry, the stream through Kit, and I'm very grateful for that because a lot of people have stuck around over the years. And I've always kind of said I don't want the stream to become like a mega stream. I don't think I'd be able to work if that happened, but I also don't want there to be like 3 people because I think it'd be hard to stay motivated or hard to see any benefit to streaming. Working on a Godot project all day. Nice. What's your project you're working on? Is it a game? All right, so show floating text. I'm just going to write that this doesn't really feel good. Update. This doesn't really feel good. I think that maybe if we had the text in screen space and then adjusted it based on the camera, that it might feel better. But the fruit is already animated, so I don't want there to be much more animation. Maybe also if we had something in the UI, like food showing in the UI in a dedicated spot, we could tally up a count as you harvested. But that's polish for later. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna do anything about that for right now. All right, so clicking a plant will harvest it. It just doesn't give you food. There is no concept of food right now. Yeah, like a barrel, something like that. Space theme game. Hey, unknown. I have an infinite space to fly around and planets to land on, but it's very empty right now. And I still just, you take any game with a development cycle of greater than like 5 days, and you look at a time lapse of that game, it's going to change a lot. A lot. And I actually kind of wonder if you did this with a bunch of AAA games, like at what point would it start resembling the game you know? Is it, 50% of the way in, 70% of the way in? Because I imagine it's probably somewhere in the like 30 to 70% range. At the beginning, it's going to have a lot of placeholder stuff, and at the end, they're just going to do a lot of polished things that's going to take a lot of time, but it's not necessarily going to change the look of the game a whole lot. Anyway, you mentioned this whole space thing. It's like right now you said it's very empty, but yeah, another year, another 5 years or something, depending on how long you want to work on it, probably won't be very empty anymore. Okay, so food should be tracked on the farm like how we track scales, I think, in the fishing pond. Is that where we put scales? Yeah, num scales. And this is just not used anywhere. Bits at a time. It is a good goal. So what updates this? Caught fish updates this. So we need something, we need the farm to know that you harvested a crop. And maybe the plot can pass that up to the farm. I think that should happen. I think that should happen after this commit. Yeah, I'll write that down. Add food to the farm when you harvest the plant. This can just be a signal from the farm plot itself. Okay, let's check this in. So the floating text scene, we stopped clipping the text. That's probably important. This change notwithstanding, so I'm going to check that in. Stop clipping floating text. Some bold text. I was testing a change where I rendered +5 food, and the word food was getting cut off. Wait a sec. Could that be because we used the wrong font? Floating text is a label. Oh, it doesn't have a bold font set. Well. And it doesn't have a theme. Oh, that might have been the real problem. How do we even test that? I guess we could just write +5 food and see what happens. And the top of this is getting cut off. Yeah, you can see it right there. So if I turn this off, but then I change the font to be, oh, we don't have a handwritten bold font though. Oh, we only have the one. Yeah. And then this would look different. Wait, that on its own doesn't even fix this. Oh, it's the outline, not the bold. Okay, well, whatever. We're gonna undo all this. And we're gonna check in just the change that I wanted, which was this. Yeah, doesn't change right into this. The word food is getting cut off. Yep. All right, now what about the rest of this stuff? We stopped the rocks from being visible. I don't want to check that in. Where is that farm? Is that the only thing that changed? We moved the plots node, and then what is this? Script farm. The UID got added. Okay, let's check in those two things, but not the visibility change. Oh, you were adding as a child of the plot. Is that what's causing the clipping? Why didn't it happen in other floating text? I think just because the letter D is never used. Like all of the numbers coincidentally fit. So if I were to render a string, where is this? If I were to render a string that is this and G, they all fit. But a D for some reason goes above this. And presumably, if I just type alpha here, presumably some other letters don't fit. Yeah, the D goes above, the F barely, like maybe 1 pixel gets cut off. Baseline, everything's fine. Yeah, just for some reason. Oh, and the letter, well, no, the letter Z is actually probably fine. Yeah, you can extend that. Yep, just the letter D and the letter F. Oh, wait, no, now it's more obvious. Now H and K are also above. Yeah, and maybe it happened the same way with the capital letters. Yeah, so if we rendered any of these capital letters, we might have seen this problem too. But floating text is pretty much... Wait, doesn't this happen in battles? Wouldn't we have seen that? Hold on a second. I saw the little top of that being cut off. It was more obvious in the editor. Like, in the game. Where'd the text just go? There it is. All right, so check this out. If I turn clip on, you can see it just got rid of the tops and now it's more obvious, right? Like the black line just ends. And if I turn it off, it's visible again. So I don't have great eyes. And it was apparent to me. So yeah, I think it'd be apparent to everybody. Yeah, I think we should have seen this. We have a bunch of text that's typed out like counterattack. And we presumably would be able to see it on the K. Maybe it's because it was too tiny. I kind of want to test that. Okay, let's undo this for a sec. Let's go back into floating text and make this clip the contents again. And then go watch the warrior battle. And we should see a bunch of counterattacks. And I think that some of those letters should get cut off. Oh, wait, we changed the font size, though, in battle. Maybe that's why we never saw it. So I make myself invincible. And then we go to the final area with just the warrior. And then we zoom way in. And we look at... Oh, it doesn't say counterattack. It just says counter. And nothing looks like it's getting cut off there. I wonder if it's a font size thing. Does the word counter on its own look like it should get cut off? It does. Maybe it's just when we set the font size lower that it doesn't do that. I don't know. Looks like the C is getting cut off. Why don't we see that here? I don't think it's getting cut off. I don't know. Yeah. Sorry, how people can sit and try to figure out this stuff for hours without it. I mean, there's definitely an end. At the very least, my cat is going to start meowing quite a lot, and I'm going to need to go play with her. But I feel like I have probably about 6 hours a day of like good brain time. Did just the second T in attack overflow? Is it some ligament like thing? In attack? I don't think the word attack should show up. Oh, were you talking about just when I typed out counterattack over here? Yes, you're right. And yes, that is a ligament thing. Or ligature. Did you type ligature and I read it? No, yeah, ligatures. It's a lot more hours than me. Sorry, I'm having the ligament thing. I think it all depends on what you consider to be good time and also what you're doing. Like if I were, I don't know what, if I were doing something more mindless than this, I could probably work for longer, like video editing, maybe. I wouldn't want to do that for 8 hours, but I could probably do that for 8 hours. But yeah, coding, I think, and streaming, I use enough of my energy and brain power doing those two things that I just can't do it for very long. Okay, so let's delete the floating text stuff that I changed. This probably, yeah. And this. Clip contents false. Let's revert that. And then that's it. That should go away, right? Yeah, perfect. Okay, so farm we've checked in properly. Let's look through all this other stuff. Crop. Yep, we added in the clickable area. We moved some things around. Looks good. Fruiting crop added in the outline stuff. Looks good. Harvested fruit is the brand new thing we just added. That looks good. Whole harvest crop, same deal. We added in the outline stuff. Scene paths has harvested fruit there. Farm. Moved the plots a little bit farther apart. Made so we plant all of them at once. Let's make so you plant 10 at once. So it's a debug function anyway. And increase the size of the farm. I'm going to keep that for now too. Yeah. This now has a way of setting that this is enabled. Crop has harvested. Clickable area. Right click makes it grow. Harvest is ready for harvest. Good. Oh, looks good. Rooting crop. Oh, by the way, going back a step to what Hockey was talking about, I think a lot of programming is problem solving, and it's not always that the problem is a bug. It's that you have some task and your question is, how do I do this? Followed by, how do I do this in the best way? And I like that process too. But yeah, sometimes you do have a bug, which is like, this is wrong. And then you have two questions, what is wrong? Or like, what's the cause? And then how do I fix it? And this can be fun. It can also be very frustrating. Ligament felt like the right word when I typed it out. Well, probably the number of words you type that start with Liga are pretty slim. In fact, there's a regex dictionary. And we can find out how many are in common parlance. Caret Liga dot star $sign. Search. Yeah, 7. And I would say that no one knows any of these other words. What does that mean? Is this even a word? Didn't show up when I just searched for it. Alternate of this. Goods cast overboard. Wow, that's a pretty cool word. And what's this? An atom, group, ion, radical, or molecule which forms a coordination complex with a central atom or ion. I don't think I've ever heard that. And this is another chemistry term? Yeah. To tie or bind a bleeding artery with a ligature. Ooh, okay. Well, we just learned some new words today. I will promptly eject those from my head and never use them the rest of my life. I gotta add the ones you know in Spanish too. Okay, that's 9 words. Yeah, ligament is probably the most known. Then I bet ligature. Then I bet none of the other ones, unless you're a chemist or a doctor or something. All right, looks good. The whole this thing, yeah, this is pretty stupid. I'm gonna write this is just a hack to make the root vegetables. A hack to make this appear closer to root vegetables when they're the source. Yeah. The rest of this code looks fine. Whole harvest crop. We don't need this up here. Yep. Only enable the outline at the end. That looks good. This is fine. Can you even add comments here? Or does it complain? Yeah, it complains. I don't like when this happens. I want a comment here, let's say, but it says you need a blank line above it. So you put a blank line above it and then save, and it deletes the blank line. So you'd have to put it off to the side. Either define this or fruiting crop data. All right, done. And farm plot is the last one. Delete this and this. Looks good. Yeah, cool. All right, allow harvesting crops. Done. Okay, so this is all done. And we've met the goal for the afternoon. The regex dictionary is pretty cool, and I need it very infrequently. But when you do need it, it's nice that it exists. Also, I think it keeps track of every other search I've done. Yeah. These are, it's typically exactly what you saw. Words that start with something. And I don't know what I was thinking when I was searching for these. All right, clicking the plant will harvest it. Done. Add food to the farm when you harvest the plant. Okay, what time is it? 3:30? Yeah, let's do this. We're just going to do this the same way we did this with the fish stuff. So we're just going to say food, maybe harvested food. Yeah. Harvested food. And then whenever you have a farm plot, which are created over here, we're going to listen to harvested crop plus equal harvested crop, which this doesn't exist. So we now need to go add that. Public event action crop question mark harvested crop. We import system, and when you harvest a crop, we invoke this with the crop. Possible null reference, not possible anymore. And then we free all that stuff and set it to null. Event should not follow a property. And then on the farm, we go add this. This should be incredibly easy to write. First, we put it down at the bottom. Then we just modify harvest. Oh, there it goes. In fact, it wrote it for me and got rid of it. Yeah, so crop data, food value. Done. Okay, then let's print this just to make sure it's working. This does not render in the game yet. It will need to at some point. We're not going to do that now. This ties into adventurer progression, which we're also not going to do now. So if we were to go harvest a bunch of food. So I clicked the grape, I think it's worth 5. Yeah, 5. So this should be 10, 15. Then a tomato's worth 4. So I think it goes to 19. Carrots are worth 3. No, 2. So that goes to 21. So peppers are worth 3. Yep, pumpkins are worth 10. Yeah, cool. It's all working. All right, and then it'll just keep going up. And eventually you spend these on whatever. Queuing has 5 balls in a row. Did they add yeah, they have parts of speech as well. So I was gonna say you could search for what has the most vowels in a row that is not a verb. Yeah. Not that anyone needs to know that information. Also, fun fact, I think the word stretched is the longest single syllable word. The more you know, or possibly don't know if I'm wrong. All right, so keep track of how much food you harvested. Yeah, this is looking good. And then farm plot has the same thing. Yep. Keep track of food harvested. This is just a number in farm.cs for now, just like how scales are tracked by the fishing pond. Eventually, we'll use this for adventurer progression. Did I close the fishing issue? I probably did. Yep. Okay. That's far-fetched. That's 2 syllables. That's a Pokemon. Done. Done. Okay, let's move some of these down to the bottom. Oh, we can't do that while this is still at the top. Just move this down to the bottom. Deleted tasks. All right, I want to just use the GitHub stuff to drag this. There we go. Why is this list so long? I want to get an idea for how much more we have left to do. So next up is perks. Perks are pretty straightforward, except for this lot of trash I wrote here, which is, should we revamp how signs are done? Oh, man. Absolutely no idea how to count them. For me, stretch sounds like 2 syllables. You go to the dictionary, you type in a word, and if there's no dot that shows up in the middle, then it is 1 syllable. Stretch, stretched. But you type in something like driving, should show it with a dot. It doesn't. Never mind. Ignore what I said. All right, yeah. So what I was going to show here is we have these signs for building things in the game. I don't think we want to delete these. I think we want to keep these there. However, there are certain things you can build, like a shop, that keep the signs even after you built them because you use them for upgrading. So here it says allows this shop to stock 2 more items. You can click upgrade and you'll actually get it. The question is, should we keep signs there? We want upgrades to exist. It's just they don't necessarily need to look like this. I think I'm leaning toward the perks boards. I just don't know where they would go for the shops. I mean, we could just put space there, right? We could just put a little thing right here. The perk board goes there, and it goes up here for this shop, and it goes over here for this shop. And then for the warehouse, we're going to revamp it anyway, but we could fit it in practically any of this space, or just add a little bit to the top. And I guess the same thing for the vault. You just have a bunch of perks boards. Why not have the shop itself be clickable? You mean this little stall here? I think we could, but I think this is about signaling to the player the same thing we want to signal everywhere. So we have, and we're not doing this right now, but the fishing pond has this perks board, and this pops this thing up. The town hall used to, we could just add it again. And then the tavern does not follow this convention. It's for popping up the quest thing. But if they all had this sign, and we could even make it show little papers on it if you have an upgrade available, so it still changes the sprite in the world, I think that sort of thing would help people. Or make it glow or something. I don't know. Yeah, I like that idea. I don't know if it looks strange. Should shops have their own perks boards? Option 1, yes. Option 2, no. There's one centralized perks board for all shops. That board could even have upgrades for specific shops. I'm leaning toward this. Yeah. Yeah, I think we should change everything to the perks boards, and I think we should put an individual one for each shop. There's something about the sign that tells me there's something to unlock there. That's true, but here are some other thoughts. One, if we use signs, then it shows up in the buildings menu as new buildings versus upgrades, but yet we highlight buildings green, regardless of whether there's an upgrade or whether there's a new building. So if we were to, and we could change this separately if we wanted to, but if we were to take the sign out of the shop and just put a perks board there, these upgrades wouldn't show up. And now you'd only be able to see this be green when you have new buildings you can build, which I think are more exciting for players than upgrades most of the time. Second is that a sign only lets you upgrade one property of this shop, which is add more item displays. So let's say we wanted to make it so that, hey, potions sell for 5 gold more. We can't easily do that without adding a perks board. And if we add a perks board, we're probably inclined to then go add in more perks for the shop. So it's not just, oh yeah, add more item displays. And there was one other consideration too. I don't remember what it was. This will also fix a nav issue we've had where when you build these, it causes some like nav error. Or maybe when you click this, it causes a nav error. I don't know. There's some way that you can cause an error. Man. And you were working on farming, got to the point where you can harvest crops. Yeah, I think I'm going to write down that I'm leaning toward it. Conclusions about perks. I'm leaning toward having an individual perks board for each shop and getting rid of all upgrade signs. Then the buildings menu shouldn't show upgrades at all. Does it show it now if you don't have any buildings that can give you upgrades? There's vault storage, which you can just get rid of. Oh, that doesn't work. Oh no. Oh, there it goes. Okay, yeah. So what happens if we build all of these? Does it go away? Oh, this is another problem. The usability of clicking a sign multiple times. Yeah, I think I should write down the rationale of all of this stuff. The buildings menu is less, or I guess not less. The buildings menu gets highlighted green if you have anything you can purchase, a new building or an upgrade. Upgrades are generally less exciting since they're not brand new. 2, the UI of upgrading via a sign is 2 clicks and some mouse movement. But upgrading through the perks board is more usable. Increments can be customized via the perks board and make future levels more obvious. E.g., we don't have to just add 2 item displays at a time. We can do 1, 1, 2, 4, 10 if we want. Great if each building had a different object for the board, so there's a bit of variety. Yeah, I think that would be nice, but I think starting them as just a perks board I think would be good too. Would you add a perks under buildings in the side menu? No, so what we do is we change 2 things here. Buildings would no longer have upgrades here, it'd just have new buildings. And we would change the text so instead of available buildings, it just says new buildings. And then town perks would change to just saying perks, and it would have a tabbed dialogue that lets you see town, shop A, shop B, fishing pond, farm, blah, blah, blah. And I think these are good usability changes to make. Yeah. There were other reasons why I think this was good. What else did I write here? Upgrade signs. Oh yeah, this will fix our navigation issue where signs are placed on top of an item display temporarily. This is very minor and also ignorable and also possibly not even our fault. But we could work around it. What else? What else? What else? Oh, this allows us to add more upgrades for a particular location. E.g., a shop could have more item displays and also higher item values. Is there any... I think we'd need to come up with what those perks are, because I don't have any great ideas. And I don't think that just increasing the value of each item on display here is all that interesting. And we already have a perk for that here, which affects every single building. Item sales are worth more, amounts are rounded up. So when you upgrade this, it's just giving you more money across the board. Hey, Cheap. Pretty much every time you see me with more than like 150 viewers, it is almost certainly because of a raid. And in this case, it's no exception. Kip Poker raided. Much appreciated, of course. There's a funny... Hang on one sec. Let me cough my lungs out. There's a funny joke, which is... or I guess it's like an insult, which is something like, oh, you know how you could make Adam into a millionaire? Give him $1 billion. And I kind of feel that way about viewership. You know how you can get Adam 300 viewers, rate him with 5,000 people. I think part of it is the nature of the stream and just, I don't know. I do development first and foremost. I'm not sharing opinions on technology or something. It's not very interactive. It's, it's probably pretty boring for a lot of people. I think having a single board for all shops is worth exploring. I think at first what I want to do is have one per shop, but I think we would need to come up with some different kind of interesting perks for that. And I don't know what they would be. And what we could do is well, no. Yeah, I think they should probably affect the shop. We probably should add more perks if we're going to do this. That way there isn't just one perk in the UI. We could always combine shops perks to alleviate that problem though. There was one other thought I had that just immediately left me. What was it? I don't remember. Something about item displays, collision. I don't remember. What else is written here? I don't know. Hey, Wouter. How you doing? Make a scam center simulator game? Actually, that would probably be kind of interesting to do. Scam center simulator. I think there are two ways of running Sims games. There's a super realistic way, like the truck driving simulator or power washing simulator, where you're just doing the activity, and then there's the fun way, which is just pulling fun elements from that thing. So like the Sims kind of did that, right? Yeah, sure, your Sims eat and they use the bathroom and whatever, but it's more fun than real life is. Maybe this is my own opinion shining through. These are not facts. Who can complain? You're obviously not a scammer. Or am I? And it's the incredibly long con. I think we're going to wrap up. And I think tomorrow I'm just going to tackle as much of this stuff as I can. I probably want to hold off on the perks and the saving and loading stuff so I can do that on stream on Friday. But I'm not going to be too selective about that. I'd like to just make some progress tomorrow and make it through this list. But hopefully I make it through the list itself and not the digital items yet. Doing all right. Things are coming together at last. Handed in my thesis for initial review a couple hours ago, so I'm happy to have that wrapping up. Nice. Nice. Congratulations. What is this? I've never heard of this. Or are you talking about someone's emotes? Oh, it's a water bottle company? This isn't even that company. At least I don't think so. Yeah. I'm not sponsored by anybody right now. Oh no, this says reduce on it. I don't know if you can even read that, and I can't rotate my hand anymore. And I don't know. Oh yeah, that's apparently the brand. Reduce every day. Huh. Does that barrel qualify as a water? Wait until you see this one. Oh, it was an Amazon ad. Oh, okay, that wasn't me. No, that's just Amazon running ads. I guess I do technically get some of that money, but only because I'm streaming on Twitch, not because I know what these brands even are. Yeah. Anyway, let's go raid somebody. Thank you all for watching. If you have not already, please strongly consider wishlisting Skeleseller. It greatly helps. I am trying to eventually make sure this game is a financial success, and the more wish lists we get now, the more Steam will promote it during festivals and when the game comes out eventually. And also, if you're interested in buying it, I mean, that puts it on your radar. It's not a commitment. You don't have to buy it. It doesn't cost you any money to add it to your wish list. So it is very easy. Very, very easy. Who are we going to raid? I'm debating on whether I should find someone new or raid someone old. Thank you. Thank you both. You know why that's a silly clip? Is because I strongly value April Fool's Day, and I have put in a lot of thought over the years into all the April Fool's things that I've done. I don't know. Let's raid Irish John. Oh, I don't know if he's wrapping up. Well, let's raid him anyway. Yeah. Whew, okay. Well, it's been a good day. We made a lot of progress. Thank you all for watching. I will be back on Friday. Name of the game is Skeleseller. Is right there. Yeah, I'll be back on Friday, and we'll finish the rest of farming stuff, and then I doubt there will be more time. But if there is, then we'll tackle something else. So thank you for watching, and see you then.